You're watching Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. It scares me, but hopefully you're going to like it.
You're watching Toon'd In with Jim Cummings.
Thank you so much for being here again.
Dude,
Amen.
I'd be here every day if you guys would let me know where you're going to be, but you move around, so it's hard to figure
Yeah, we're always on the move.
I'd show
We're
up
here
at all
now.
of these. I'd be like Ed McMahon sitting in the corner going, yes, Jim. I'll just do that. That'd be it.
On the road, bouncing around. It's been fun though. It's been fun. And honestly, when you guys were on last year and at
Was that last year?
Was that last year,
at the very end of last year,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
yeah. When you guys were
Like a
on,
year
that
ago
was
nearly.
like probably my favorite location that we've ever had.
I like this one, man.
This is the new favorite location.
Right.
Yeah.
That was great. That was great. And, you know, of course, you're in the hotel and you feel like, Thurston Howell the 30th.
Yeah.
Or the W.
Home the
Is
car
that the one?
someplace lovely, won't you?
And you know what they did? You know what the staff did? I don't know if you guys knew this. So that day, it was you guys,
Yeah.
Ron Perlman,
Oh, wow.
and Shazam,
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi.
Yes, yeah.
It was you
Jackson
three
Kid.
that day.
Wow.
Yeah,
We
that's
recorded
You
all
were busy
three.
that day. Wow.
Yeah.
And they bought it. The hotel brought a bottle of champagne for every guest because they were so thrilled
Really?
that we were bringing people into the hotel.
Well, you know what, though, man? It's beautiful that they did that, but I think, honestly, it's like I kind of, Cara knows this very well. I kind of live my life, and I think Jim does too. I want to be the guy that people are happier to see walking in than walking out. I don't know that they would do that for everybody, but I think this guy, no, seriously, I think he breeds so much goodwill, and he's got a part of people's hearts just because of what he's done. So, it's like the excitement of him being there, and then the people you mentioned being there, myself notwithstanding, they're probably like, oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
Jim Cummings with this person. This is the best day ever, man. Like if people didn't basically sleep with a plush version of you every night, maybe that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But they do,
Yeah, a lot of them do. Yeah.
Jim's one of the only people I know who could walk up to anybody and say, you've probably been sleeping with me for years and you didn't even know.
Yeah. Well, they do bring them to cons.
Yeah, of course they do.
They're old, and you look and they go, "Oh, that's got a lot of hugs on it."
Oh,
It's just got a lot of hugs.
Isn't it, Jim? I'll tell you, man.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is when I was a kid. I think it explains me being kind of a pack rat now. I had a box. My family moved away when I was 16. And I had a box, and in that box were all the precious relics that I kept from my being born to when I was 16,
Yeah.
pictures and school reports and things like that. And in that box, which sadly got lost and it broke my heart, was my Winnie the Pooh. And I slept with a Winnie the Pooh from the time I was about 4 to the time I was about 8. But it was so sweet. I never told you this in all the years we've been pals.
You should totally be getting this.
Oh yeah,
This is real. This is the real stuff, man. When my mom said, she's at some point she said, "Do you think you want to keep sleeping with Winnie the Pooh? You're getting to be a big boy." And I said, "Well, a little while longer." So the one night came, and I go, Mom, I think I'm okay to sleep by myself. You can put Winnie in the chair over there. And she goes, okay. So she picks him up, and she's walking away. And no kidding, man. I go, you know what? I go, he said he gets scared in the chair. Just put him at the foot of the bed. So I slept for like another year with Winnie the Pooh, ipso facto you, right down there between my feet. Yeah, you were my foot warmer.
Nice. That's beautiful stuff.
That's one of the reasons I love you, man.
I love that stuff.
One of them.
Man. I love that stuff.
It
Jess,
is, man. It's good stuff.
I have a question burning in my mind that I was
first of
thinking
all,
about.
the first question is your hair looks fantastic and you're using
Why,
the
thank
right
you.
shampoo.
I'm growing it out, everybody. I'm growing it out. I'm trying to get like Jess. You're going to
His
see
fans.
me soon enough.
Chris's fans are demanding.
He's going to be a tribute act. It's going to be he'll go out on the road instead of me. It'll be fantastic.
And we're going, right? I mean, we're rolling. Okay.
Oh yeah. We're going. This is it.
Can people see you right now?
Yeah.
Oh, they can.
Doesn't he
Okay.
look great? He smells really good too. Come on, if you ever see him, don't bother him, but just go over and smell him a little bit. You'll be happy.
You know what's crazy? Another little
We
anecdote.
won't think you're nuts at all.
You know what has been crazy is going to these conventions. I've now started getting noticed at the conventions.
Oh, sure.
And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're producer Chris.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that nice?
I've been walking through, the
Yeah,
convention center before, and people are like, Chris! And I turn around and I don't recognize this person's face at all. And they're like, great to see you, buddy.
Bro, isn't that
and I'm
lovely?
like, what
When
in
you
the
keep
world?
growing your hair, you're going to
That's
get
so cool.
Mr. Momoa. So be careful.
I used to get that a lot in college because I had the long
That's what
hair
I'm
playing
saying.
football. I was like
Yeah.
another 50 pounds.
Wow, dude.
But the question I want to ask you is when in your life did you start dressing so extravagantly?
Oh my God.
That's got to be like, because
I'm preteen or teen?
I'm picturing high school Jess. What did you wear to high school?
Dude, well, you know what's funny is my life is divided into like several different like sections, right? My first section was kid actor Jess, and I did when I was a little boy. One of the first biggest things I ever did was I was in a major production of Oliver, and I played the Artful Dodger.
Of course you did.
Oh yeah, and it was great. You know, come sit yourself at home, and all that. That was me, right? Well, what was fun about that? This is a fun story too. My father, and I'm going to get to your answer, but this, whether you use this or not, it's a fun anecdote. My father, and Jim knows this because he met my dad, thank goodness, was a very accomplished musician. Chris, I mean, he backed up like some of the legends, Judy Garland and Peggy Lee and Frank Sinatra.
You must have looked up to him.
Of course, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a very distinctive way of talking. And this this is good. This is a good anecdote because what happened was I saw the movie Oliver. You remember that movie with Ron Movie? You know, and I was like 6 or 7, and I'm like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. I would watch it over and over. My mom would take me to the theater and I'd see it over and over. And one day, I happened to look in the newspaper. I was living in Philadelphia, and it said casting for the national touring production of Oliver. And this was in the days when if they had kids, they'd cast them in the individual cities rather than take them around the country. Now they take them around the country. And it said, looking for, blah, 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 the Artful Dodger, right? And it said, must be, hang on, I'm trying to remember everything, must be between 5'6" and 5'8", have dance training, this, that, and the other thing.
As a kid.
Right, as a kid. And I had none of these things. I think I was about 5'1". I was just a little kid, you know, and I was 8. And they always said between the age of
11,
11
right?
and 13, with your voice not having changed yet. And I was like 8 years old, and I saw it. And it's like big production. And I knew the theater. It was at the Fancy Theater in Philadelphia. So I go in to see my dad. My dad had a very distinctive way of talking where he'd emphasize a random word, and it sounded very odd. I'll illustrate. And he was sitting there reading his own paper, and I go, hey, Daddy, I said, I have to go to this so I can be the Artful Dodger. And he goes, let me see that. And now, if you've never met my dad, it's one of my best impressions. I know, I'm sorry you don't have a point of view, because this is a good impression. And he looks at the paper and he goes, you can't go to this. And I go, why not? He goes, you don't have any of the qualifications. Because he would hit these words, right? Very strange. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you don't dance. They want a kid that's 5'6", you're 5'2", you know, whatever. He goes, you're not going to get this. And I said, no, you have to take me so I can be the Artful Dodger, right? And he goes, you know what? I'm going to take you. And you know why I'm going to take you? And I said, why? He goes, so you can find out why? He goes, that you're not always going to get what you want, right? And I said, okay. So he took me.
Oh, that's a challenge.
Isn't it just?
Oh, boy.
And dude, I got it, right? And I'm like, he's like, holy shit. I was like, I couldn't believe that I pulled it off. But I did, and that was my introduction. So I had this little kind of showbiz kid thing, and I did TV. I had a Jess Harnell TV show on local TV in Philadelphia. Yeah, man. It was like, believe it or not.
Can we find like footage of it?
No,
Can people see it? Nobody can see it?
I would. It was just a local show in Philly.
Somebody dig it up.
Yes.
Somebody, you out there, I know you can find it.
Please find it for me,
I'd be very happy
We'll
to
get
see
that
it too.
into the Smithsonian.
That would be freaking great, man. The only way it could have been better is if he was on it. But I digress. It was like an American Idol for kids, and I would introduce all these kid acts, and they'd compete, and they'd win like $500, and the finalists would win $1,000 or something.
And how old are you now?
I'm 9 at this point, and I got really good reviews. The Oliver thing was funny, and by the way, I was shorter than the kid who played Oliver because the whole dynamic was they wanted the boy to be taller than Oliver, but I was shorter, and but it went really, really well. Anyway. So I'm doing that. I have the Jess Harnell show, and I'm thinking this is my life. But then, when I was 14 years old, I went to like I think it was a Kiss concert. Maybe I was younger, maybe 12 or something. And I saw these guys, and there's fire blowing up, and there's all these lights, and there's a lot of girls screaming. And I went, that seems like a good job.
That's not a bad gig.
So I couldn't exactly, circling back to your question of 45 minutes ago, Chris.
Yeah.
I couldn't exactly go to school dressed in armor and dragon boots, but I could raid my mom's closet and find scarves and like vests and stuff like that fit me.
So
right?
you were doing that in high school.
He was.
Extravagant.
But it's going to get much more dangerous because what happened was, man, so I always sort of did it. I mean, because I like it. And in fact, all you kids out there, I've met a lot of you guys on the road, and kids ask me about the clothes and stuff like that. And I always tell them, I say, look, I said, the way I figure it is, if everybody else is wearing the same stuff, then that's covered, and I can do my own thing. And I tell them that you can do your own thing too. It doesn't have to be this. As long as you're being true to who you are, it's a beautiful thing, right? Yeah. And kids sometimes say, they go, well, what if people don't like it? And I go, well, here's the good news. The people that don't like it aren't the people who are supposed to like it. And the people who do like it are your people, and they'll find you. Yeah. Right? So it's awesome. Yeah.
I love that.
The clothes thing, thanks, man. The clothes thing took a huge leap when I met this one, okay? Because it was like this, and then it mushroomed into this gigantic explosion in my life. And because she's a certified stylist, Cara is so many good things, but she's an amazing stylist. Basically, with the clothes, I won't use foul language, but I kid you not. She at the beginning of each week, we have a clothing rack, and she hangs up my outfits for the week. With her outfits for the week next to each other on hangers, shirt, trousers, jacket if a jacket is going to be worn.
Color coordinated.
Right. Color.
Jewelry,
same material.
accessories.
See?
Yeah,
See?
look.
Today.
You see the fabric?
I love it.
I don't know if they can see that low.
Yeah, it's just.
And they have to be custom, right?
Well,
I was this far away from Aaron mine. I'm so glad.
You know what?
Because if we would have clashed.
He looks better than me.
And it would have,
I'm telling you, man, he's a sexy guy. No, but it's like because you love the stuff just as much as me.
Yeah,
right?
I do. I love like fabrics and playing with different colors and different patterns, and Jess is just cool enough to be able to pull it off.
No, I love it.
Chris, I tell people I'm her man akin.
No,
see what I did? See that man?
Don't encourage it.
But
Don't encourage
I was in Tokyo last year, and I texted you guys, and there was literally like the
Yes!
coolest like
Yes!
sequin suit, and literally like I saw it in the window, and
I need that
My
suit,
mind
Chris.
raced
We gotta go
exactly
back.
to
Yeah.
you guys.
We gotta go
I even
back.
texted you for your sizes. And what do you know? In Japan, they didn't have anywhere near your sizes.
I know. Oh, no.
It was like
It didn't fit me.
Yeah, we'd only have one.
would have been like 12-year-old children.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. This is a very quick anecdote, but it's true. Before I met Cara, I was single for a few years, and I was just kind of, searching the world with a telescope looking for my girl. And I would go shopping, and all these fashion guys and these manufacturers that I know, and they'd have like a girl's dress or a girl's this or a girl's that, and I'd say, yeah, I'm going to get all this stuff from you. Let me have that dress. And they go, oh, you got a girlfriend? I go, nah. And they go, oh, okay. And I go, no, it's not for me. I said, this is for her when she comes. And they go, well, how do you know she's gonna like it? I go, she's gonna like it. and I kid you not, if she'd shown up and this wasn't her style, this stuff, I would have been like, cool, we'll give it to somebody else. But when we met, I said, I've been buying you clothes for 4 years. She said, really? I said, yes. She goes, oh my goodness, I love this.
I don't sound like that.
And she started wearing all this stuff, and it's like
it was so cool. It had like bags of every single color.
Yeah.
Like that was
Label, blue,
like
red.
my starting point. That was the base.
I love that.
And then it just
It's true, man.
escalated.
Isn't that nuts?
That is crazy.
I know, man. It's
We dressed like this separately though. Like
Yeah, we
when I
did.
lived in London, I still dressed this way. Like when we met for the first time in person at the airport, we kind of looked at each other and went,
there we
okay.
are. It's
It
great,
was
man.
perfect.
Yeah, it is. It was worth the wait.
Oh, that's good stuff.
But isn't it cool? Because stylistically,
It is so cool.
We're cut from
Yeah.
the same cloth, Chris. Again, see what
Oh
I'm doing?
gosh. There's plenty more of them.
It's one of those, man.
No, I love it. I love it. I
Thanks,
love
man.
seeing you guys on the road. You guys are always so cute together.
Bro,
It's-
thank you, man.
Aw.
Well, that's another funny thing, dude. This is, Jim will relate to this. When we're out there,
You're
if
very
we...
jingly with this. Is this okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's Christmas
I'm
time.
not
honey.
hearing
We're
you.
coming up on the holidays. This is
Yeah,
great. I
it's-
should have put
Alright.
bells. No, what's funny is if we don't do this, right? Like let's say if we do a con or something like that, and we don't show up dressed similarly.
Yeah, if
people
I'm
are-
like wearing, I don't know, pink and he's in green.
They're like, is everything okay? like, you guys aren't like, seeking counseling or anything. No,
Yeah,
this is-
right.
So we have to.
We did it once. Like I wanted to
Yeah.
wear like this neon fuchsia pink thing, and Jesse didn't. Right?
Well, not
and
that
Well,
day.
he would have looked great.
Right.
Thanks,
well, no,
Jim.
he does
Yeah.
now.
The reason-
We had to get him some.
The reason I didn't wear it is because he was wearing.
Yeah.
I wanted to wear it, and then you was in blue or something, and
Yeah.
they do you remember we went for lunch,
Yeah.
and they were like, "You guys okay?"
Uh-oh.
And we were like,
there's
"What?"
whispers. So now we're like, uh-oh, we got to make sure. And you know what else is very sweet, man, is a lot of people, Jim, they'll come to our table and we'll catch up and they'll say, well, I said, so can I, what do you need? They said, no, I'm good, man. I really just wanted to see what you guys were wearing It's like it's become.
Oh, that's great.
It's taken on a
It's a
life
thing.
of its
I
own.
love
That's
that.
wonderful.
And it is fun, man. It's like we got a lot of crayons. We don't know
Yeah.
which one we're going to
It's
color
cool.
with.
Okay, and
Little bit of pressure,
follow-up
but
question,
it's
because
cool.
I know the people are wondering. I'm
Yeah.
looking out for you guys.
Yeah, he is. See, And
Around
you.
the house, you're chilling. It's Sunday.
Go.
COVID.
Yeah.
What are you wearing around the house?
Same thing.
You're not getting all dressed up
I do
to sit
not.
around the house.
Well,
Okay,
okay, you go.
You don't own any sweatpants?
I do,
You
but
gotta
they
own
have, they have like
rhinestones on
rhinestones
them.
on them and stuff, dude.
Yeah, but
I'll send you a picture. You know what? You know what we'll do? We'll send you some
They
of our
legit
casual wear,
have
and you can
rhinestones.
insert it into this part so people won't think we're kidding.
Yeah.
And I'll show you.
Please do. I'd
Yeah.
love to show that. I'd love to
okay.
show
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna do it
Okay.
because this is basically it. We just
We
just
do,
found
but
ourselves-
you mentioned COVID. I'm just gonna say something real quick. When COVID was happening and we were all
this is
kind of
funny.
stuck, you know,
I
what I'm
forgot.
saying?
Yeah, this
when
is
we were all
good.
like in the house for
I
like
forgot about
ages. We still
in
had
cages.
for ages.
For ages.
No,
Oh,
in cages.
I-
also,
Oh,
she
in
had
cages.
to
You know,
in
I
the
have to put him
cages.
away at
Ages.
nighttime.
Yeah, she does,
Gotcha.
man. Don't feed
Okay,
him
I'm
after
back now.
midnight, man.
My funny accent, isn't it? Come on, I'm sorry. No, we still had like the Friday night date night,
But
and
what
we
we-
would
yeah.
get fully dressed up, like we
Jackets
were
and-
going out. Like Jesse came in the sequin blazer and the
Yeah.
jackets and everything, and
Love
we'd
it.
have like we still have our dinner.
She'd make dinner,
right?
or we'd pick it up someplace and bring it home,
Yeah.
and we'd light candles and sit there.
So
and-
yeah, we did dress
Are you
up.
guys big Halloweeners?
oh yeah, we like Halloween.
Do you have a
lot.
costume for this year?
Well, see, our Halloween plans kind of got derailed because we did have costumes, and she'll
Yes.
tell you what they were. But
No,
then
I
we-
can't. When does this go out?
yeah, you'll probably be out, but it doesn't matter.
it's fine.
But what happened was we had these costumes, but then something else came up the same night we were planning to go to Halloween party stuff, and we had to like rethink it because the costumes we had required more time. She was going to be like a sexy Jason from Friday the 13th, and I was going to be like a heavy metal Freddy Krueger, and she was going to do our makeups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now, so we had to get something that we could change into really quick because we're coming from kind of a formal thing.
We're doing like a boat party thing, so,
So-
we couldn't be like
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger on the boat.
So tell them that would have fit. So tell them what we're gonna be because it kind of ties the whole thing in a bow.
To bow.
Yeah, bow, like kind of puts a ribbon on
Oh,
the
I
package.
thought you mean bow. The
no,
cat.
not our cat. No,
Oh,
that's another story.
so we're gonna be in like something like this for the boat party,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then we need something that we can change into in the,
car.
Oh.
to get out
it's
and be
it's
ready,
not a
Sure,
big
no
car,
problem.
Jim.
right? And
Oh,
be
by the
ready-
way, they're talking about a Lamborghini.
Well, it's a stolen one. though.
But it's a
we found it.
So they've got like they've got the seats are
we've
molded
got, like, this
onto
much
them anyway.
space. Yeah.
They're molded into them.
By the way, best thing about that car, folks, I want you to know it has nothing to do with prestige or the title of the car or how fast it goes. It has to do with this. Hey, man, can you pick me up at the airport? Dude, I'd love to. No trunk space. Anyway,
Yeah.
see, can't do it. Go ahead with who we're going to be.
Wait, just so we can pull it over our outfits,
Yeah.
right? Because we were like, we can't get changed properly.
No.
We just needed something to pull over.
Yeah, so?
So we've got these outfits, and it's pea pods,
We're going to be peas in a
right?
pod.
So
Peas
we're
in a
gonna be
pod.
in a pod.
Two peas
Yeah.
in a pod.
I've heard of them.
Peas in a pod.
Right?
It's going to be nice.
We'll insert a picture so you don't think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cute, and it's still us, and we can do it in 30 seconds. So,
I'm gonna go on record and be a hater. I don't like that costume.
come on,
No,
man.
you
why?
do.
Why
Do you
don't
want to see it? Shall
No,
I show
I want
you?
to see a picture. Yeah.
Now?
See one of us or of the costume because we got a picture of the costume, but you got to wait.
Yeah,
to
No,
we
I
haven't
want to see
tried-
one
Oh
of
yeah,
you guys.
you gotta fill it
Okay.
out.
You guys have to send me a picture.
It'll be
so
good.
I
It
can
won't
change
be-
my mind
it
because
won't
right
be-
now I'm gonna be a hater.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
it's
that's
really
fine.
funny.
I understand. I get it, man. But I think that when you see it, well, then the other thing is, we might be out of,
And I
out
don't
of
know
place
how
for
we're
us.
gonna,
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say,
move.
well, and we can't bring it out unless you
It's
can.
full like on.
Yeah, you're walking around like a pea pod, but it's gonna be. Brilliant.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings.
Yeah,
Today
this
we
is
have
it.
Jess and Cara Harnell.
Yeah, that's us. And look at that. And look at this.
And it's been a great time already, and
Thanks
we're gonna
very
dive
much.
right into it.
Yeah, where is it?
Right
you know what's
now.
great? You know what's awesome, man? Is it's like doing this. Honestly, isn't even like doing an interview. This is like hanging out with
No,
my
we're just
pal for
hanging.
my whole life and my new pal of a couple years ago, and it's
Yeah.
just comfortable. It doesn't feel like.
No pressure,
Well,
it's
and the
just
next
chill.
question, tell me
Yeah.
what you-
Yes.
it's not. It's just us hanging.
Well,
man.
that's the great thing about a podcast, right? It's like a discourse. It's like very
they're good.
relaxed and it's interesting
Yeah,
too. Like
when they're good.
of all the guests, I think we're in the 70s now of the amount of guests that we've had on.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, almost
Well done.
almost 100,000 subscribers on YouTube too.
Fantastic.
And we
only
want that
growing.
plaque.
Let's
We're
get
like
busy out
3,000.
there, folks.
Growing like
Let's just make it
teapots.
happen with this one. We're at
come on.
97,000. Let's just get 3,000 subs right now.
on, you guys
82% of you aren't even subscribed. So
Yeah,
if you subscribe right now, then we'll make it happen.
it's a little
And
button.
that's all because of you
Just
guys.
a little button and you go boop. And look how happy you make
That's
him. Look
right.
at his sweet little face. How can you
Where's
not
your
want?
microphone?
Oh yeah. How can you not want him to be happy? He's Winnie the frickin' Pooh, dude. Get busy.
Come on. What he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's great. And what I was saying is like some of the guests we have on, it's interesting too, because like this podcast kind of format, you know, this medium is kind of new, you know, to like at least popular culture.
Yes.
And a lot of people, you know, will, you know, when we're in talks of booking them on the show, they're like, okay, well, can I have the questions in advance?
Wow, no
and it's
kidding.
like, no, it's a discussion.
Yeah.
It's very casual. It's very,
Yeah.
you know, you're almost getting to know somebody in this forum.
Yeah.
You know, we want it to seem like a discussion between two people, not like, you know, not like Katie Couric,
Not
you
a
know,
big-
like
right.
with
Exactly.
A, B, C, here's the agenda, you know, let's see where it goes. And if we don't get to anything, come back on. You know, it's not going anywhere.
I hope to be a frequent visitor because it's so much fun. And I'll tell you what you just said is very interesting, Chris, because what it sort of does, and I mean, no disrespect to the folks who want to work that way. I understand their feeling that
Of
way and
course,
stuff like
yeah.
that. But, and I'll throw this over to Jim and to get your thoughts on it, man. One little kind of ground rule that I have for voiceovers that I've had for years and years and years when we talk about voiceovers, people say, how do you know when you really have a character down? Like when is it like second nature? And I said, a character is second nature when I can sit down with you and you can talk to me for 15 minutes and I'll be that character with no script, no prearranged stuff at all, and I'll know exactly what to say or how to react to whatever you throw at me, right? Wouldn't
That's
you agree?
very, very true.
So it's almost like maybe guys who want the questions in advance haven't really found their own character yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. No offense to them, but it's like, dude, you know, because when we have our guys down, I know I could talk to Jim as Tigger for half an hour.
Oh,
You know, he would be.
Well, you know, and often when we get, and I credit you with this answer as well, because they'll say, well, what, you know, being a voice actor is this? And I remember years ago, and I've given you credit every time.
Oh, thank you.
I say,
man.
yeah, well, when it comes to being a voice actor, small V, capital A.
That's it, bro.
You know,
That's
and so you know, and they say, oh, well, you do voices, you do voices, blah blah blah, voice.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah,
But
okay, how never?
How never?
What I feel like I'm doing is I'm a character actor.
That's it.
I do characters. That's just how they sound when they talk.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. That's
You know, 'cause
beautiful, man.
That's it. That's really it.
Yeah, my version of that, and I think I like yours a little better, is I say that it's not about doing funny voices. It's about creating believable characters with your voice.
Yeah.
But what you said is actually more heartwarming. And it's like, you know, you're a good example of it because seriously, it's like, you know, I think that nostalgia aside, the Winnie the Pooh thing in particular, there's so much heart when you do it.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah.
Well, no, you know what I mean. And it's like there are people, God bless them, you know, who do that impression, and oftentimes it's a very good impression, but there's no, you dig?
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's no foundation of
Yeah.
love and
Soul
sweetness.
has to be there.
The soul,
Yeah.
dude. That's it. And that
Yeah.
helps because he is a soul man. I mean, Jim's
That's
whole
right.
background
Absolutely.
is soul. So yeah. But I mean, isn't that true? It's like that's what it comes down to. And it's not about doing funny voices. It's about being believable, knowing your stuff, and being able to answer questions. And a character I know really well is this one. So you can ask me anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm real good at being me, man.
Yeah.
I'm the second best at it. She's probably
Oh, that's a beautiful thing,
Thanks,
and
man.
it's very true. It's very, very true. Like I
Yeah.
said, like you said, small V, capital A.
That's it, buddy, all the way.
Yeah.
And you know, for all you guys out there hoping to do it, the good news is that you can get better. You know what I mean? At those things. Then the way to become a good actor is to act. And if you look into community theater, look into classes, look
Yeah.
into things like that, because there's something near everybody. And another really good thing that we didn't have so much when we were coming up, we used to record ourselves. Remember cassettes, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
I used to. You know,
You still have a ton
Yeah,
of them
I sure do.
in the office. He's got like a ton of these cassettes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I get a call, Jim, to do fill in the blank. Can you do so Alan Arkin or something? And I'd go and I'd find a VHS of an Alan Arkin movie and put it in the thing and stand there and look for a good scene, hold my cassette up, go like this, and be in the car listening to this little cassette and parroting it until I had it, go to the gig, do the gig, and promptly forget how to do it. Well, now there are so many tools that you can use, guys. You can use YouTube to find things. You can do an exercise, like a really quick, great VO exercise if you've never tried it, and you don't need anybody but yourself, a phone, and a remote control. Turn on your TV, okay? Have the mute button pressed. Press record on your phone. Unpress the mute. Listen to what's going on the TV for about 5 seconds. Mute it again. Repeat exactly what was just on the TV. Try to sound as much like it as you can. Change the channel. Do it again. Do this 10 times. Not only will you get an awesome head rush, at the end of it, when you turn it off, you're going to find out, wow, I can kind of do a Scottish accent. I didn't know I could do that. And wow, I do the worst impression ever of John Malkovich, but that's kind of a cool new voice. I just found. And you get done with that stuff, you will find out stuff you never thought you could do. So there you go.
That's right. That's well said.
Exactly.
Yeah, well said.
Really good advice.
Yeah, and also as far as the acting thing, read things, record things and read them, and you listen back to them. Forget that it's you, and ask yourself, now, if I heard that, would I think somebody was reading it to me, or was somebody was talking to me? And if it sounds like somebody was reading it to you, keep doing it until it doesn't. There it is.
That's perfect.
All she wrote,
There
man.
it is.
There it is, man.
Yeah.
Drop the mic. Boom.
That's right. Yes. No, that is so true.
Yeah, right?
And I remember years ago, you were playing I got to believe it's everybody's favorite character in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, thanks,
And you were the Cowardly Lion. And I remember seeing pictures of you, and it was, I think it was in Ontario,
Yeah.
somewhere in the Inland Empire.
Yes, it was.
And I was thinking, damn, I can't get out there for some reason or another. And I guess you just crushed it. And do you love the stage too?
Well,
I mean, obviously, playing rock and roll.
Playing rock and roll, sure. That's as you know, and as you've done. That's the foundation of everything that I do, even in the voiceover stuff, Jim. And it definitely applies to you. I think one of our secret weapons, and a lot of our friends out there who we work with have the same thing, is being a singer. Helps so much in voiceover, man. And as far as being on stage, I always said that I like theater. I really enjoy doing theater, but I've never been partial to haircuts. So I can really only play a pirate, Jesus, or the Cowardly Lion. Therefore, I've done Jesus for Jesus Christ Superstar.
I was going to say you're 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
That's not
2 out
bad.
of 3, bro. And the Cowardly Lion. You know the sweetest thing about that, Jim? It's just magic to me, man. It's like there's a question I got for you, and then I'm gonna segue back. Did you like or have a relationship with Winnie the Pooh before you became Winnie the Pooh? I know you were aware of it, but did it have?
Well, yes and no. My younger brother Terry did.
Okay.
And gosh, I think I've told this before, but it's a terrible thing.
Not to me, please.
But it was, this is obviously in the original in the whenever that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
And he would watch it on Disney, whatever, the World of Color.
Sure, the Wonderful World of Disney.
The Wonderful World of Color.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know Winnie the Pooh? You know what Pooh is, don't you? You know what Pooh is? If you take that H off, it's Pooh. Winnie the Poop.
Oh, no.
Winnie the Poop.
Oh,
and
no.
then he brought that up years later, and he goes, okay.
Yeah. Hey.
Winnie the Poop. And I said, yeah, okay.
You're
all
living
right,
in the house
I'll
that
take
Poop
it.
built, man.
Yeah.
See that?
Here, let me get this arrow out of my neck. Okay. I feel better now.
Wow.
So,
the reason I ask you the question is because seriously, bar none, I've been so blessed so many times in my career by so many things, and one of them was my all-time favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz, right? I think to me, it's like the most perfect movie there's ever been. I'm so glad they haven't really tried to redo it, but have just let it be its thing. And the cast was so perfect. And I grew up with it every year at Easter or Thanksgiving, whatever it was. My family would sit down in front of the couch and we'd watch The Wizard of Oz and everything. And one of the first voices I ever learned to do was the Cowardly Lion. So not only, as it happened, did I end up playing it in a big musical production of it, which was very good and very, very nice memory. But I became the official voice of the Lion for all like the Warner Brothers ancillary products and for Wizard of Oz show revivals and cartoons and stuff like that. And it's so cool because every time I'm on the mic and I start doing this, I get happy inside. It's like, it's just like, and
Yes.
and it's like, dude, it's just like.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that was the damnedest lion roar I ever heard.
Oh, because what is it? Yeah, it's not even. Yeah,
It was he. Does he have a? Is there a sinus?
So that voice has to come from the original, right?
oh, completely.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
In my mind, and it's sort of okay. A really good parallel to draw to that is it's like, there are certain things. Like this Beatle thing that Jim and I worked on recently, it comes to mind too. It's the same kind of thing. There's certain things. My band Rock Sugar is all about taking stuff that you're really familiar with and making it new, doing new things with it, doing these mashups and creating something new out of it. But with the Cowardly Lion, when they said, "Here's the audition," right, and it said you may or may not do an impression of Bert Lahr, and I'm like, look, man, I know I could create something with this that would be different, but that was perfect.
Yeah.
Like I could create something that was pretty good, but that's perfect. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do that as a tip of the hat. I mean, I give him full credit, and it's like if when Jim does Winnie the Pooh, he embodies Winnie the Pooh, and if he, well, I'm going to change it. It's like say no, man, it's that, and he does it. He takes it to another level, but he's faithful to what people's.
Yeah, I think you have to be.
Yeah, well, and sometimes they do that. They bring things back. I won't mention any names, but we've been involved in reboots of shows, and
The
sometimes
movie Arthur was safe. That was safe too.
Yeah,
Safe water.
Yeah, but they didn't take that seriously. Hey, and look what the hell happened with that. It's terrible. Anyway,
I love that.
no, you like the original. He's talking about the remake.
I'm talking about the unoriginal.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh.
It's a whole other
I
story.
didn't know they even did one.
Yeah, see, well, they should have. That's
see,
why they shouldn't have bothered.
That says it
Well,
all.
see, it wasn't as funny as it.
Brilliant when he falls out of the car.
I fell out of the car. That's the best.
Yeah.
But no, it's like it's like there's certain things that are classic and perfect, and you don't repaint the Mona Lisa, man. The Mona Lisa's the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you mentioned your experience on Abbey Road
Oh, my
with
God.
Jim. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
baby.
Dude, forever. Like, let's.
Jim's wearing the hat,
For
look.
the audience,
And I'm
audience,
remiss.
what did you guys do?
Well,
God. What did we do, Jim?
I sat there and it just was overwhelmed.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, you recorded at Abbey Road.
Yes,
We
we
did.
recorded 3 songs because
Yeah, because
the world is round.
yeah, that was
Turns me on.
with very intricate harmonies. Me, Jim, and Rob Paulson.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then No Reply
Yeah, that was a duet with me and Jim.
was a good one.
Oh, my
And
God.
then this is terrible because I remember singing songs with you there that we didn't sing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were just.
I remember
Aw.
I can go through them. I can go through all these songs, and
Yeah.
did we do that one? No, we didn't do that. Well, we kind
But
of
it feels
did
like
Hate
we
You. But it feels like we did. And gosh, I'm doing it again. I give myself goosebumps when I recall this with this man.
Jimmy.
It was magical. And I'll tell everybody, we're going through these songs. And you walk in, you go, wow, this is Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Beatles.
Yeah.
Beatles recorded here.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, yeah, smells like the Beatles. Yeah, and you're just going through, and I was there. Margaret was there.
Yeah.
We were all there, and
We made her sing too, by the way.
Yes, we got her.
We did, yeah, we did.
Exactly right. And somebody said something about blisters on their fingers.
Oh yeah. We had a special guest, Ringo.
That was my little cameo. I loved that.
I'll throw in a bit of back context, then I'll throw it back
Yeah.
over to Jim for you guys so you understand what's happening here. It's like, my all-time favorite band, Jim is who is your all-time favorite musical artist? Is it the Beatles? Or is
It'd
this,
be the Beatles.
Okay.
Well, I always say no. I think you're asking me who my second one is.
Okay.
Because it's the Beatles, and now we can talk.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah, perfect.
okay, 'cause
perfect. 'Cause now we can open the discussion.
now we can-
I see
yeah.
exactly what you're saying. Well, in
Yeah.
my musical background, Chris, because I definitely that's the biggest part of my background is music, and I always tell people I break it down like this: the Beatles taught me how to write a song, Steve Perry taught me how to sing a song, and Kiss taught me how to perform a song. Because it's like when I was a kid, those were my influences. But the Beatles occupy a very special place in my heart and in my life, right? My first memory as a child was my big brother Jeff holding my hands up and dancing with me. I saw her standing there. I was wearing a diaper, but I can still, I described the room to my mom, and she's like, you were like not even 1 year old when we were there. I said, yeah, but I remember the washing machine. And she's like, and there's no pictures, so it was very strange. So the Beatles have just always been this enormous thing in my life, and in Jim's as well, and in probably lots and lots of you guys. You know?
yeah.
Well, my beautiful wife is from the UK, and I've taken a lot of trips over there, and I would routinely go to Abbey Road, which is the studio that the Beatles recorded like 92% of everything they ever did in. And of course, the famous crosswalk from the album cover is there.
Crossing.
The zebra crossing. The zebra crossing is there. And people go and they take pictures. And of course, there's the building, right? So every time I was there, Chris, I'm like, I want to see Studio 2. So
Oh, Jimmy.
yeah, right there. See, this is what I'm talking. That's the zebra crossing right there, folks. So I wanted so bad to go into Studio 2 because that's where they did all this stuff. And I'm talking about, that's where they did their test to get their record deal and where they recorded the last song they ever did together in that room. So it's just like, holy smokes.
It's a special room.
And I'd always walk up and I'd walk in and I'd try to be my most pleasant and my most friendly and my least scary and go, hey, is it, would it be possible just to kind of pop my head into Studio 2 and just maybe lick the floor for a minute or whatever?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. It is a working studio. We don't allow tours. And we do get asked quite often, but we can't allow it. And I'm like, okay. And one day she says to me, she goes, well, if it's a working studio, why don't you rent it? And I went, wow. There you go. Yeah, see? And
Wait a minute.
And I went,
I see where you're going with this.
And I'm like, I have a checkbook.
They'll have to let you in then.
Yeah, they'll have to, right? So booked it a year out, okay? And when
I think it was more. Like it
might have been a year and a few.
Yeah.
And when you have an event like that, like a wedding or a big trip or whatever, it's very far off. You don't really think about it too much. But I knew it was there. I knew I wanted him there. I knew I wanted Paulson there, our buddy Rob Paulson, who was also there with us. But I was like, okay, well, it's far off enough. I don't have to think about it. But then, as it started getting closer, right now it's 3 months out, and I'm like, oh, well, I should probably think about what songs I want to do because they have a whole lot of songs.
Yeah.
So I made my list. My list had over 100 on it. and I thought, well,
that was just his favorite.
It's going to be a busy day.
those were just my favorites out of the 292 or whatever it is that they got. So I'm like, okay, I've got to cut that down. And as I cut it down, one of my real criteria to cut it, Jim, I think I told you this, was I wanted to focus on the fact of not so much just the big hits, but how diverse their songwriting was. And a good way to point that out, a really good way to point that out to you is they did I Want to Hold Your Hand, okay, which is like one of the best pop songs of all time, right? It's, oh yeah, I tell you something, da, 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 and they clapping hands, right? And it's just as happy and poppy as can be. 3 years later, they were doing "Let Me Take You Down," cause and it's like a totally different freaking band in 3 years. So I thought, well, I want to focus on that. So I picked
incredible
these songs,
growth,
right? Just amazing. I said I want to shine the spotlight on how much these guys grew and how almost unrecognizable they were to the former iteration of themselves. So put these song lists together, right? Get the tracks together, because I knew I couldn't track stuff over in there. I only had 10 hours to sing all this stuff. And we rent the room. We show up there at 10 in the morning, meet the engineer, really, really nice guy named Paul Pritchard, had everything so nice for us. But walking into the room, and I'll get to my friend's experience in a moment, was such a trip, you guys, because it's like it's not just the room where my favorite band of all time, and again, music has been the driving force of my life for my entire life, recorded everything. It's basically unchained. It's changed. It's also the room where the writer of the song, it doesn't work like it does now, because now, if I write a song, I can put it together on my computer, send it to you, say, hey, Jim, put some drums on this. You send it back, and I go, you know what, give me more of a fill there. And okay, change the backing vocals.
Yeah.
When the Beatles worked exactly like this, and I'm not even kidding you. They'd be like, all right, fellas, we need a song for the movie tomorrow, so you've got to come up with something. We're thinking, and Ringo would say, well, it's been a hard day's night today, and John goes, hard day's night, that's a good idea. And he went home, literally went home, picked up an acoustic, came in the next day and went, great, goes like this, bam, it's been a hard day's night. And he's teaching the guys the song in this room.
Wow.
Then they're recording it in this room.
In that room.
Right? Okay. So I walk in there, and I know it real, real well, Chris. It's like I've never been in it, but I've been in it my whole life. I know exactly where they used to set up, Ringo's drums were there. I mean, then as years went by, they would move keyboards and things to different places. I knew where they recorded that. I knew where Paul sat when he did Blackbird. I knew everything. I'm like Rain Man in that room. I know everything. I know every detail. So here I am in this room, and I'm going to sing these songs, right? And the engineer comes down and he goes, right, well, how many songs are you thinking of doing? And I said, well, I'm shooting for 21. And he goes, oh, well, you'd have to be Superman.
What?
And I'm like, no, we're going to do it, dude. We're going to do it. And we did. We did do it. And what was amazing is midway through the day, Jimmy shows up. And you know, I've known Jim and loved Jim for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Shows up, and he got choked up. He got like tears in his eyes, and he had to take a second just because of the history. And they haven't changed it, Jim.
Yeah.
You know that it's just like it was then.
The floor's exactly the same.
And I was
the
there
walls
for
are
like
the
20
same.
minutes, and it just slowly washed over me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm walking down the steps, and I go, oh, those are the steps.
Yeah, those are the steps.
You know, your stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
Right.
look, oh, wait, that's, the door, those doors lead to the
echo chamber.
The echo chamber. And John was sitting
right there. Yeah.
And then I'm going, you know.
See, me too. Again,
And I just welled up. I just started tearing up, and I said, "I'm fucking overcome.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself right about now."
I know.
It was really special
there
to
was
see you guys.
there was a moment, and do you want to show them? You want to show them? Are you down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a moment. This is one of my favorite moments. And
Is
now
this-
this is not a sales pitch. This is just to tell you. I made a CD and a DVD, and you can find it at rocksugarband.com. We're not planning on selling a ton of them, but if you want to check it out, I guarantee you the songs will give you some great memories of both then and now. There are some amazing moments.
Download, isn't it, on the Rock
It's a
Sugar
digital download, yeah, but you can get the video as well on the download.
Yeah.
And the best part, my wife here, who I never knew was such a good documentarian. You did
Me
amazing.
neither. I had a blast though. It was really fun.
She filmed a making of video. And you basically get to go through the whole day with us. You see us arrive.
Yeah.
You see us get set up.
It starts literally in the hotel room. in
Yeah, but don't
London.
get any ideas.
Like,
It starts the day of. You dirty bastard. Anyway,
It's like the breakfast and then going into the lift downstairs or elevator.
Yeah, the
as you
elevator.
say,
Yeah,
I hear.
yeah.
And then getting into the cab, getting there, and it shows Jimmy arriving.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Captures a really sweet moment actually. I won't give it away, but it's between these two when Jesse's singing and Jimmy's watching. It's really cool.
Oh, there's a lot of wonderful parts.
It's a nice moment.
But one of my favorite things is that there's a song, okay? It's an old Beatles song. It's from like 1964, and it's called No Reply. And I always loved it because it has these amazing two-part harmonies that are deceptively simple, but that's what makes them not simple. And Jim walked in, and he's looking around. He's literally, it's on the video. You'll see this. He's looking around, and I go, "Hey man, let's sing this." And I start singing it, and he turns to the mic, and he sings it with me. And Chris, I kid you not, we'd never. I mean, this
They
is
didn't rehearse
straight up, man. Hand to God,
anything.
we didn't rehearse it. We didn't
I
go through
believe
it
it.
on
I
the phone.
believe it.
And it was like I finished the rehearsal, and I'm like, we should have recorded that. There was not
Yeah.
even any music.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So
That's on the DVD.
Acapulco.
too, right?
yeah, so it's on the DVD. So
Yeah.
that said, we're gonna sing it to you.
Yeah.
You want to hear that?
I sure
We're
do.
gonna serenade you.
I sure
we
do.
go.
The only way this could be
Do
more
it.
romantic is if we were standing underneath your window at night, but then your neighbors would.
I just want to insert a little personal anecdote.
Go, please.
Speaking of
Love
documentaries
it.
and music studios, I'm a big fan of the rapper The Game.
Okay.
And he recorded his platinum selling album, The Documentary, right next door.
in this building.
In this building.
So,
right next door. In
Have
that
you been in
studio.
there?
Have you been in there yet?
I have not been in
Oh,
there
you
yet.
gotta go,
Why?
man.
I know.
Why
and he
not?
recorded it right next door.
No, you gotta go,
Go
in, man.
in.
Yeah.
Because
and
it's-
you'll see it when you're walking out on the wall. They have the platinum plaque addressed
dude.
to the studio.
See, I love that, and we both have had the experience. And I know Jim has. I mean, I've recorded in Capitol Studios where Sinatra recorded. You know, we recorded in all these places.
yeah.
I recorded in the room where they did, Hotel California, where the Eagles did that.
It's a cool feeling.
It's cool.
You know?
But for
It's like-
me, dude, this was like. Okay, this was like
This is Mecca.
a devout Catholic
Yeah.
getting to
Yes.
sleep in the Pope's bedroom. Okay, you know what I mean? Without the Pope, obviously, we're gonna keep it appropriate. But it's like you understand.
Yeah.
It was like we were in the headquarters, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Ground zero.
Serenade.
You want to hear this?
Ground
Yes.
zero.
Okay. Everybody does.
All right, Jim, we got to put on our Beatle hats. Are you ready?
I got one on
I
now.
know. It's killing me because he bought me that hat, and I almost wore it today, and I should have, but I'm wearing it other times. But
that's all
look how
right.
cute he looks. Seriously.
Yeah, look how cute I
Get a
look.
shot of that.
It's like, look
All
at
right,
you.
here we go. You ready, bro?
Here we go.
All right, here we go. This happened once before when I came to your door. No reply.
They said it wasn't you, but I saw you peek through your window. I saw the light. I saw the light.
I know that you saw me, 'cause I looked up to see your face.
I tried to telephone. They said you were not home. That's a lie.
Yeah, buddy. 'Cause I know where you've been, and I saw you walk in your door. I nearly died. I nearly died.
'Cause you walked hand in hand with another man in my place.
My favorite part right here.
If I were you, I'd realize that I love you more than any other guy. And I forgive the lies that I heard before when you gave me no reply.
Wow. I tried to telephone. They said you were not home, but that's a lie.
'Cause I know where you've been, and I saw you walk in your door. I nearly died. I nearly died.
'Cause you walked hand in hand with another man in my place.
No reply. No reply.
Come on, man. You see what I'm saying? You see, and then drum solo. Come on. See?
Hooray.
Now, how about that?
Jess Harnell, that's how it's done, ladies and
Only on
gentlemen.
Tuned In. Only on
Right
Tuned In.
there.
And on the DVD, but we were in Abbey Road then. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, I got to tell you, just
Ah,
seriously.
that was so good, you guys. It took me right back.
Yeah.
to
I know,
being
yeah.
there
Good,
watching.
good.
Well, I mean, doing that with you, it's like it warms my heart in so many ways because the song's been a part of my life forever.
Oh.
Doing it with you, hearing you sing so good, it's just like, man, life is good, bro.
And it's
Yeah.
always good when you have the right words. I am a
I
big
didn't-
fan of actual lyrics.
I didn't sneak one yellow submarine
no,
in there
I
just
know.
to screw you up, Jim.
That's
I
right.
couldn't-
No. Oh, God.
That would have been funny.
Yeah. When he was born.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
great,
man.
man. But how cool was that? See what I'm saying?
That was so cool.
And that's just like a microcosmic example.
When
of the
you
fun we
sing,
have.
what's it like singing with your natural voice versus imitating or playing a character?
Wow, that's a good question. Okay, that harkens back to when I did this record. I didn't set out to do like Beatle impressions, you know what I mean? It's like, but I did keep very faithful again because I'm like, well, you can't really improve on perfection.
Yeah, I can't fight it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, you'll do John's part. All right, I'll do John's part. That's a great idea,
And I'll do
actually.
Paul, you know, it'd be great.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's just good,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it's part of your DNA, and it's like, I don't know. That's a really good question,
Well,
Chris.
the reason I asked is because we just had Hank Azaria
Okay.
on the podcast,
Sure.
and right now he's doing a tour of singing, but as Bruce Springsteen.
The AZ
He's
Street Band.
like doing like he's not singing just cover. He's like covering in an imitation.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And he said he feels so much more comfortable and has throughout his whole career imitating. Even when he's
Yeah.
acting, he feels like
true.
he has to put on a voice or, you know, like imitate something because he feels so self-conscious in his own skin
Wow.
that he
Yeah,
feels
who'da
weird
thunk it?
performing as himself. And
That's-
he wanted to challenge himself. He's turning 60 or he just turned 60 and he wanted to challenge himself with something vocally. And so he spent months and months and months learning how to sing like Bruce Springsteen.
No
And now
kidding.
he's
Yeah, and
doing two
hell
shows
of
a
a job.
month. 2 shows a month.
That's
and
amazing.
performing as
Like
Bruce
around the
Springsteen.
country?
Around the country, yeah.
Yeah, he's on tour.
In answer,
And he's got that screen door slam.
Mary
Wow. You know, he's got all that.
Yeah.
That sort of.
He's
fun.
got it
So
down.
I guess I bring that up to bring context to the question that I just asked you was how mentally, how does that feel for you singing in character versus singing in an impression versus singing in your true voice?
It's a great.
What's the difference?
It's a great question, and man, you know, it's like I always tell people that we all become amalgams of the people who've influenced us, right?
Jess, you have no problem with singing as yourself.
Oh no, of course not. No, I'm not
No,
saying,
it is not.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But it's like, you know, when. Okay, it's like in my development as a singer, Chris, which I was long before I was a voiceover actor.
Right.
I was like, well, you know, my biggest influences. It's like I really loved Steve Perry. I used to practice all Steve Perry's stuff and all his runs and all his things and do that. I also loved Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin, and I loved Don Henley of the Eagles. So it's like when I sort of became myself vocally, I'm like cross between Steve Perry and Robert Plant and Don Henley of the Eagles, right?
That's a damn fine.
It's a nice group.
That's not a bad recipe.
That's not a bad resume, man. But you know what's cool is it's like we all kind of, if we're really blessed, we all kind of find our lane and we get to drive in it, you know? And it's like the rock sugar thing, which is the biggest success. I mean, I had original bands here in LA, and we had major success on a very local level. Like we had the attendance
Loud and
record,
clear.
Loud and Clear. We had the attendance record at the Whiskey for that year. We had the attendance record at the Palace in Hollywood for that year. More people. We drew a ton of people, but we never.
In the House of Blues.
And the House of Blues.
And I think you invented mashup.
Well, live mashups, kind of. I mean,
I don't
Thanks,
know
Jim.
anybody who. It's you, man.
Well, thanks, bro.
It's you and Chuck.
It's
That's
Chucky Duran, yeah. But it's like what's cool is mashups. You know, DJs have been doing those for years, and then we thought, well, we'll do live mashups. You know, we'll take a metal song, like an anthem, usually with the 80s. Just a small town girl, you know, on the top of it, right? But we do mashups of 80s metal with 80s pop, and we do them live, right? We don't. It's not records. It's not a guy spinning records, and then. It's
freaking amazing.
Oh, thank you, man. Well, Jimmy's been with us for some of those things,
yeah.
but it took off. And what's funny is, with Rock Sugar, I reflected on it later, and I thought, you know, this is such a great vehicle for me because before I became a singer, I think Jim knows this. He might not. Or before I became a voiceover actor, my primary income was being a session singer. And my calling card, my secret weapon, if you will, that I had at that time was the ability to imitate singers. And there was something that was very in vogue at the time called sound-alikes.
Yes.
And I was interviewed like 5 times on Entertainment Tonight. Remember Entertainment Tonight, Jim? I'm sure you've been on that. About doing sound-alikes because it was really cool because there was like a legal loophole. And what it was, okay, we got this TV show. The year is 1992, and we got this TV show, and we want to use Guns N' Roses song. Okay, Guns N' Roses, if you're going to use that record, wants $250,000 to license that record. Oh, but wait, there's fine print here. If we record a new track and happen to hire a guy who sounds like Axl Rose, we can do it for $5,000. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Well, I did more of those than anybody. I did like literally before I became a voiceover actor. I did hundreds of these sounds.
Wow.
My
Do you
biggest.
remember that one time when I've got to tell this. You
Yes.
have to tell this
What?
story.
What?
Do you remember that one time when you told me that your dad called you up and said, "Can you sound like this guy?"
Oh, yeah, well,
and
that
then
was-
you had to run to the record store.
Well, my father.
Tell that story.
I'll tell an abbreviated version of it because
It's really
we
funny.
don't want to have a mini series, but I'll give you the quick. I'll give you the quick version of it. My dad was doing the music. My first sound-alike job ever, Jim. He was doing the show for music for a show called Shadow Chasers, which was about guys chasing supernatural phenomena. And he had told me my father didn't like anybody's music unless he had something to do with it, Chris, unless he was involved. So one day he was in the car and he was bitching about something. He goes, "Do you know this little bastard, the Prince?" I'm like,
The Prince.
All right. And I'm like, "The Prince of what?" He goes, "He's a singer, the Prince." I go, "You mean Prince?" He goes, "Yeah, that's it. He's got this song. He wants to charge $500,000 to do the song, and that's even for a sound-alike." And I go, "What's a sound-alike?" He goes, "That's where you hire the guy and he comes in and he sings like the original." And I go, "Dad, I can do that."
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, You
You're
can?
like,
I go, I've been doing that since I was freaking
Dad,
5.
I've got great news.
So he goes, this is
You
a
sound like Glenn
it's
Fry.
a true story. Yeah. So he calls me up. He calls me up like a week later. And I answered the phone, and I had music cranking. This is my full rock and roll days. I was living with like the other guys in the band in this terrible apartment, and music's blaring. And I pick up the phone. I'm like, "Hello," and he goes, "Turn the music down." Right? So I'm like, "Turn the music down." Okay, hey, Dad, what's up? He goes, "Can you sing the Heat song by Glenn Fry's and sound exactly like Glenn Fry's?" So I'm doing mental calculations, and I'm like, "The Heat is on,
Heat is on
by Glenn Fry."
By Glenn Fry.
Right?
There we go.
I go, "Yeah, I can do that." He goes, "Don't say yeah." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Have you tried?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "Then don't say yeah." And I go, "No, but I think."
Yeah,
he
but
goes,
I
know I can do it.
I can do
It's
this,
easy,
yeah.
right? And he goes, "Here's what we're gonna do." He goes, Go find out if you can sing that. I'm going to call you back in 30 minutes, and I want you to sing it to me. And I'm looking at the clock. I don't have the record. This is before YouTube. I'm thinking, okay, the record store is 10 minutes up the street. Maybe I can go buy the 45, get home. So I did this. I'm racing because I know my father. If
the heat was on.
The heat was on. And
If he said 30 minutes, he meant
30 minutes.
He meant like 30
okay,
minutes.
so I get it. I'm listening to it. I'm writing down frantically the first verse of the song. He calls me up. Phone rings. Right? Hello. Let me hear it. Right? And I'm like, okay. So I put in the record.
Yeah.
And it's and I hear him again. He goes, "Turn the music off." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I don't want to hear the record. I've heard the damn record. I want to hear you." I said, "What, like a cappella?" He goes, "Yes, a cappella." Right? And I go, okay. So I sing it to him. I sing him the first verse. Total silence. And one chorus. Total silence. Then, because he's my dad. And he goes, Right? He goes, "All right. Can you be at Warner Brothers tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock sharp?"
8.
Right? I go, 8 o'clock. I go, "Dad, that's really early." He goes,
Yeah.
"Don't give me that." He goes, "This isn't you jumping around in spandex at the Roxy." He goes, this is real shopping." He goes, "Can you do?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that. He goes, "All right." He goes, "Be there at 8 o'clock." I said, "Okay." So
you had to get up at 5.
of course, work on the whole song, write it all out. Jim, I got all my little notes, man. I got it figured. I go there. Now, there's the Clint Eastwood scoring stage, which is still the big, as far as I know, the big scoring stage there on Warner Brothers. He told me that's where it is. I get in, I get my little pass. I'm walking up on the movie lot. I'm thinking, wow, they made all these movies. This is so cool. Turn the corner. My dad is waiting around the corner, like pacing from the Clint Eastwood thing, right? From the scoring stage. And I go, "Hey, Dad." He goes, "Shh." And he pulls me around the corner, right? And he goes, "Listen, I've been thinking." He goes, "I've been thinking about this." And I said, "Okay, what's up?" He goes, "I feel like it's a bad idea for them to know you're my son." Right? And I go, "Okay." And he goes, "So we haven't done any paperwork yet." He goes, "Here's how it's going to work." He goes, "You come in and we don't know each other." This is
God.
right?
This is
This for real. And I go, "Okay." And he goes, "Then if you screw up, I can fire you." Right? And I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, thanks.
And it's very
Thank
funny.
you for that vote of confidence.
Dude, it's very funny. And I've told
Right?
this story to like not in therapy sessions, but like as a funny story. And psychologists will hear this and go, "Oh my gosh, that must have really
How
affected
did you feel?
And I go, "I thought it was hilarious because I knew
Yeah.
my dad." Right? So he's like, "Here's what we'll do. I'm gonna go in that booth, and when I do," he goes, "there's a little window in the glass. I'm gonna signal you. And when I give you the signal, you come in." And I go, "Okay, what's this?
Okay,
What's the
what's the
signal?"
high nine?
Right. And he goes like this. He goes, "This is the signal."
Oh,
Right?
jeez.
No, Jimmy looks at me. He goes like this. He goes. Right? So I go, "Okay." So when you go like that, I come in. He goes, "That's right." And I said, "Okay."
Okay.
He goes, "And remember, we don't know each other." I said, "Okay, fine." So off he goes, and he goes in, and I can see him because there's a little thing, right? And he's patting people on the back, and he's smiling, and he's gonna, By the way, the session doesn't start till 9. Okay,
Yeah,
he just wanted
you're
me
just
there
there.
at 8. All right.
Sure.
So just to show that that I could get there at 8. So I walk up. Or no, I don't walk up. I'm looking in there, and I see him, and you're me. And he looks at me, and he goes like this. He goes, right? Now, I like messing with my dad. I always loved messing with my dad. I miss you, Dad. And I was like messing with him. So I go like this. I go, like I can't quite make it out, right? So he looks at me again, and he goes, right? And I went like this, right? And he goes, like he's having some sort of
And he's
seizure.
going,
Right. So I go, oh yeah. So I walk up and I push the door to the room open. And I go, excuse me. And he goes, who the hell are you? He goes, this is a closed session. You can't just come in here. And I go, well, I'm here to sing The Heat Is On for the Shadow Chasers show. And he goes, oh, you're the singer. And I go, he goes, I don't know who he is. I've never seen him before in my life. For this exact, just seriously, right?
He's really working
Yeah,
it.
he goes, well, I don't know who hired you. He goes, but just sit over there and wait because we got a lot of work to do. Don't make any noise. And I'm like, okay, thank you, sir. So I sit down in the corner. I brought a book, orchestra, like 80-piece orchestra. This room,
Oh, wow.
the record room was probably a little bigger, Jim, than Abbey Road. I mean, it's just huge in there. And there's 80 guys with violins and cellos. My dad goes out on the conductor stand. They start at 9, the downbeat's at 9. 11:45, okay, I start hearing the engineer go, wow, we're way behind. Oh my gosh. And there's like this buzz in the room. And finally somebody said, well, hey, Bobby, maybe if you wouldn't mind staying through lunch, he was the engineer, maybe we get the vocal done over lunch and we can catch up on some time. And he goes, oh my gosh, okay, whatever, right? So everybody, they have to break. It's union. Orchestra breaks. And my dad comes back in the room and they go, hey, Joe, they said, we're gonna try to cut the vocal now and get that done because we're running so behind. He goes, okay, all right, sounds good. Right. So all these guys leave. And Jim, this was my first ever professional recording session for anything other than my bands. Ever.
Oh, yeah.
And they roll out a microphone in the middle of this airplane hangar. I mean, it's this gigantic room. So there's one mic. I'm the only guy in there. And I walk out, right? And I'm like, and all these people, because this was the pilot episode of this show, Chris, all these people are in the control room, the producer and the writer and this guy and that guy, and there's like 15 people, and they're all standing there looking at me like that. Right?
Like waiting.
Good. No pressure.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah, and it's early.
And nobody knows that I'm Joe Harnell's son. So I go in there, and the engineer Bobby goes, okay, and he wasn't happy, and he because he had to stay for lunch, and he goes, all right, man, he goes, let's check the level. Can you give me a little bit? I said, yeah. So I sing the first few lines, and he stops it, and he goes, okay, man. He goes, let's go for one. He goes, it was only doing the first like 60 seconds of the song, so they roll it, and I sing it, right. And I remember this so well, you guys. I could hear my heart beating in my headphones. Like before they turned on the track, I hear boom, 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 boom. Because it was very intimidating. And I don't really get intimidated, but I was aware of my surroundings. And
But you were only a baby.
I was a little guy. So I was like probably like 22, 23, something like that. So I sing the thing, and I look in, and nobody says anything, but they're smiling. They're like,
That's a good
and
sign.
I'm thinking, that's good.
Yeah.
So the guy goes, so Bobby, much friendlier, goes, okay, man. He goes, you want to do the first harmony? And I go, yeah, sure. So I sing the first harmony, right? Now they look even happier. And he goes, okay, let's do the second harmony. And I go, okay, right? So I sing the second harmony. I've been singing now for about 3 minutes, maybe 4. They pause it, they stop the thing, and they're clapping. And Bobby goes, all right, man, that's a wrap, right? So I'm like, wow.
Wow.
I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
This beats spandex at the Roxy any day. So I go walking in to the record room, and they were applauding. God bless him. And my father, I kid you not,
This is the best
he
part.
stands up and he goes, he's my son. He goes, I didn't want to intimidate him. Isn't he wonderful? And he was so happy about it. But this is, again,
That's great.
it's a true story. I can't believe I've never told you that. So that was my beginning in show business. And in answer to your question, I've always been able.
Sorry about
I've
that.
always been. I've always had like my own voice. We talked about developing that as an amalgam of my favorite singers. Who I aspired to be like. And I always tell kids, take the people you love. If you want to be a voiceover actor, listen to Jim Cummings and listen to Billy West and listen to Rob Paulson and put together your own version of those guys and make it uniquely you. Those can be your foundational points, right? But then eventually you want to find your own voice. And I always had my own voice, but the Rock Sugar thing hitting like it did was such a trip because in that band, what I really tried to do was try to personify Bryan Adams when I was doing the Bryan Adams thing. And Axl Rose and Joe Elliott from Def Leppard and Steve Perry from Journey and this person from that band and that person. So I got to use in the circle of my rock vocal career, I got to go from singing in my original bands just as me, this amalgam kind of thing, to in Rock Sugar where we actually got to be on stages with Aerosmith and AC/DC in front of 40, 50,000 people sometimes.
Yeah.
I got to sing.
You guys had a hell of a tour.
We did, man. And I got to sing like in tribute to the guys who shaped me in the first place. So it was just like this beautiful circle. My first demo, Chris, that I ever made, I don't even know if Jim's ever heard this, to be a session singer was I did We Are the World. Remember We Are the World?
Of course.
And I imitated everybody.
I knew what you were going to say. Yeah.
That was my demo. And
That's
kids,
great.
The cool thing is, brother, even if it sucked, you guys, it would have
didn't,
stood
by
out.
the way.
Well, you're very sweet.
But it didn't.
But people, when I got it, when people would hire me from that demo, because I was like the new guy,
Yeah.
they go, hey man, it's really nice to meet you. I'd say, well, thanks for hiring me. And they say, dude, even if we hated your demo, just the fact that you had the gonads to try to do that,
Yeah.
but it was actually really good. But we called people in. We don't even remember the last time we called people in the office to hear a demo.
Yeah.
But this was so different. So kids, when you're looking for a way in, if you can find something that's a little bit different, even if it's a little bit weird, it might just pay off. Yeah.
Well, since we're on the topic of singing,
That's
Yeah.
great.
do you happen to remember Wakko's Capital State song?
I'm sure, man.
You do?
I mean, I don't remember. Here's the thing. See,
I know. I'll save you from this one.
No, I swim in high waters. By that I mean I work with Rob Paulson
Yeah.
on Animaniacs. That was
Yeah.
my introduction to a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
I met Jim. Jim's the first like Mount Rushmore voice guy that I met. And what's really weird is that before I even met Jim, I sang the theme song to Jim's show Tasmania as a session singer. I wasn't even doing voiceover.
Yeah.
Come from along this way, under, down, under. The sky is always yellow in rain or shine. And then Jim would go, Tasmania. And we didn't even know each other. But the first big guy I met was him. Now coming back, Rob Paulson plays Yakko
Yes.
on Animaniacs. And the funny thing is with Animaniacs is that me, him, and Tress basically are those characters.
So Rob did his
United
song.
States, Canada, Mexico,
Yes.
Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
And you know that was so popular on social media
Of course.
that people animated it.
I bet.
People animated
Right.
it. There was
That's
independent
crazy.
artists and they animated it, and you can see it on YouTube, and it has like 100,000 likes.
Well, here's the thing, man.
Robbie loves to get up and do that. He, like,
Yakko.
bounces
Yeah, he's a
around
song and
and
dance
sings.
man, and he'll get up on the table at a restaurant and sing
yeah.
Yakko's World. Now me, I know the words to every Journey song ever created, including all the all the little ad libs and stuff like
Yes.
that. But I don't know anything
All
I
the
did.
Sam Cooke stuff.
All the Sam Cooke stuff. I don't know any of the things I did, but I will give you this. All right. This is just for you because I love you, man.
Thank you.
All right? I don't know the whole thing. If I had the thing in front of me, I could do it. But Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Columbus is the capital of Ohio. There's Montgomery, Alabama, south of Helena, Montana, Denver, Colorado, and Boise, Idaho. Texas has Austin, then we go north to Massachusetts, Boston, Albany, New York, Tallahassee, Florida, Washington, D.C., Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Nashville, Tennessee. Elvis used to hang out there a lot, And I made up that last part. See? So there's a little something, a little blast from the past just for you. That's as far as I get because after that I don't know.
Okay, yeah, who needs?
Although
yeah.
if I'm in a
they
bar,
know where. They know.
yeah. If I'm in a bar and somebody goes, "Hey, I bet you don't know the capital of Delaware," I might go, "Dover, Delaware." And it comes up like that, but it's not. It's not second.
Wakko to the rescue.
Do you remember? I mean,
Yeah.
do you remember your greatest hits in the cartoon thing? I mean, can you go through them like Rob can?
Kinda.
Yeah?
Kinda.
Yeah,
There you
Rob
go.
has
You know.
some.
He's
just like
Yeah.
He's that guy.
I
I'm telling you.
He,
crazy.
When
he
I
is
auditioned-
Yakko, isn't
He's
he?
Yakko.
He is Yakko. And you are Wakko, though.
I am Wakko.
He walks around the house with no pants on.
Looking for snacks.
well, when I auditioned for the California Raisins, they said,
Oh man, dude.
who do you want to go for?" And I go, "I would love to be the lead singer."
Yeah.
And they go, "Okay."
Okay.
And so then,
They had no idea.
And then this was the recording engineer, and this is a really interesting story. I got the job.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, you did.
And I showed up, and I was sitting on the couch, and the people were sitting there, and it was over at I think it was at Waves. Anyway, and I'm sitting there, and I look in the room. There's nobody there. And the engineer's there, and I don't know. And so I said,
Is this your audition or is this the
No,
first?
this is after
the first session.
First session.
Got it.
And I show up, and there was this lady down here from San Francisco, and she says, and we were talking, and what are you doing? Well, I'm here to do the raisin. Oh, really? What are you going to do? And I said, well, I guess I'm the singer. And she goes, you're not Jim Cummings, right?
Oh.
And I said, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're the nice black man on the tape. I said, well, no, but yeah.
in a matter of
if
speaking.
you take out the black part, I'm the nice man on
You're
the
the
tape.
nice man on the tape.
She
man.
called, and they kind of asked me to go home. And
Really?
we all went home.
Oh, wow.
And
I didn't know this,
And
man.
and they said that they have the impression that the raisins are purple, but they're black purple.
Yeah.
Raisins.
Yeah, sure.
And I said, oh, okay.
Well, they're an R&B. They were
I
R&B.
can't fight that.
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. And I'm not here to take somebody's job, whoever
Sure.
the hell had it
Yeah,
first. Because there wasn't anybody.
Right.
So they said, and then my agent called up about 4 days later and said, well, would you like to audition for the California Raisins? And I said, again?
No kidding.
And she said, yeah. And I said, but you can't say your name. You're not allowed to, they're giving you numbers. And I said, oh.
Wow.
Oh, because they already saw me and I ruined it.
Wow.
With this shocking pink
Yeah,
epidermis.
you see?
And
Your pigment, man.
Yeah,
It worked
it's
against you.
Pigmentation. But so I auditioned and I decided I would do I Can't Get Next to You by the Temptations.
We've sang
because,
that together.
all
concert.
the remember that?
Yeah.
Because each Temptation sang.
Yeah.
So I figured out.
Oh, that's great.
I can turn the gray sky blue. I can make it rain, whatever I want to do. Yeah. So I did them all, and I figured they
Wow,
gotta
Jim, that's
hire one of
great.
me. They gotta hire one of me.
Oh, that was genius, man.
And then I got the job again. So it was cool.
Wow. Well, you know what's fantastic? And this just occurred to me, and I know I've never told you this, but before I even thought of doing voiceovers, the California Raisins were very prevalent. Like you couldn't really get away from them.
Yeah.
Like you guys were everywhere.
Yeah.
And I remember I actually said to Chuck Duran, our mutual great friend, Chuck Duran, we were watching TV in my little apartment on Vineland Avenue in Studio City, and a California Raisins thing came on. I don't know if it was a commercial or a special. Might have been like a TV special. And
Probably a TV special.
And I
Yeah,
said to him, I said, you know what's fun? You know what's funny, man? You know what's interesting? He said, what? I said, the guy they got to sing it sounds a lot like the guy who's talking it. They did a really good job. And he goes, well, how do you know it's not the same guy? Because the guy singing it's a real singer. He's not like a cartoon guy. and I that's no offense. Obviously, I've learned since that a lot of my cartoon friends are fantastic singers. But you,
Like you.
well,
Like
come on,
you?
that's very kind.
Yeah, I was going to
Thank
say
you.
a lot of mine are too. There's one now. There's one.
God bless you. But it's like, no, I was like, because you can really sing, man. I mean, it's like what we alluded to a moment ago is that we had, one of the most fun things. We might have mentioned it the other time we sat down here with Chris, but we did a charity thing. It was mainly for charity where me, Jimmy Cummings, Kevin Michael Richardson, Billy West got together, and a guy named Joe Lala was there. And we got together and we did all old Motown songs.
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about this last
Oh my God. And
Yeah,
I just, when I wasn't singing, I was just sitting there grooving on these guys.
You should bring that back, you guys.
Yeah, we should do that again. That was really fun.
Like a one-off special.
It was
Don't you
fantastic.
think? Thanks.
And we did that Temptations thing. And as I recall, because you do such a great David Ruffin, who was like the main guy in the Temptations, and you sing Ain't Too Proud to Beg. That's one of my favorite ones you do. But on that one you just talked about, you sang the first thing, and then Kevin came out and make it rain. It was like, yeah. But I mean, you could have done the whole thing. But it's like, it was just, I remember standing there grooving, and that reminds me when we were at Abbey Road, another moment on the DVD that's so precious to me is we were singing this 3-part harmony one. We sang 2 3-part harmony ones, Because, which is unbelievably intricate, and it's probably the most beautiful thing on the record.
Yeah.
When you hear it,
You remember that one, Chris, right?
I think you'll dig it. But what we also
I remember all of them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Man. When we did I'll Be Back, which is this beautiful, if you break my heart, I'll go. And it's this beautiful, beautiful song. And we're singing it, all three of us together, me, Jim, and Rob, and you can just see Jimmy glowing. Remember? And
Yes, I remember.
This smile comes up, and he's kind of looking around, and then Rob starts kind of dancing as he's singing. And it's like, man,
It's so
ain't
cute.
nothing better than capturing joy
good
in
as
a
it
bottle.
gets.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No
And
kidding.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so
kidding.
it was special,
I'm
man.
goosebump
Yeah.
again.
Me too, man. And any chance.
And that's, at least for me, hearing these things, it's inspiring to like keep pursuing, creative endeavors.
Oh, man, you got
Because
it.
a lot of people go stagnant.
They
A
do.
lot of people just don't indulge. They kind of get caught up in the Michelou of life and
Yeah.
kind of just let that fade away. And that's something so inspiring to hear. And you know
thanks,
how you
man.
guys went to Abbey Road, Hank Azaria doing his thing, and
Isn't that cool?
Just so many people we talk to, you know, just always looking for that creative outlet.
This whole thing that you guys are doing here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
for
this didn't exist in your universe 2 years ago, or did it? I mean,
No,
No,
it was,
not quite.
We just had our 1 year anniversary
See?
like a month ago.
you know, and now
Yeah.
and look at it, it's growing and it's
Yeah.
blooming, and the flowers
Yeah.
are getting brighter. It's like,
And honestly, the most inspiring thing for the podcast to me is just like when we're on the road and people are talking about it and people come up and be like, I
Yeah.
want to be on the podcast.
Yeah,
And, you
sure.
know, and like,
And it's great. Christopher gets recognized now at the
Yeah.
cons.
yeah, I love that. Well,
and it's just
Yeah.
really cool. Like travel. I mean, I could have never, you know, you asked me what, like 2 years ago, you know, am I going to be on the road
know.
with my childhood? You know, the voice of my
dude.
childhood.
I know the voice of everybody.
Going around and then meeting all these other voices of my childhood and all these inspirational people
Yeah.
and like getting to sit face to face with them. I mean, like this podcast has been a dream opportunity for me.
Isn't that nice, man?
And it's been great.
That's so kind, man.
But saying that, I have to now switch the gears because we have to play a game.
Oh, we do.
And you've played this game before.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
It's called the old voice swap game.
Oh yeah, we got to do
Oh, I
that.
love
We got to
this.
do that.
Yes.
We got to do that.
Yes. Do you remember the rules?
Yeah. What is it? He does a line as one of his characters, and then I have to repeat it, and then vice versa.
In one of your characters, yes, and then vice versa.
Okay,
And
so
then you do it.
Yeah. Got it. So you want to set it up, Chris, or how does it work?
So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's
Everybody,
do-
you played along with us before.
yeah, come on. This
Take
is
it
pretty
away,
good.
Chris.
This is as close as I'm
Well,
ever going
these
to get
are-
to being
these are
Jim
two-
Cummings, so I want to enjoy this.
These are two crazy characters.
Okay.
that-
Go, dude.
they have a
hands
little
are
bit of
going.
they have a little bit of similarities. I feel like
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot
Yeah.
and Taz.
Oh yeah, you
They
know
both
what?
spin. They
Yeah,
spin.
They both spin, and they're
That
both
is true.
sort of unintelligible. By the way, what a great challenge you met, segue, when you did Tasmania, and you managed to maintain. I've never told you this. You managed to maintain what he does with that stuff and talk at this. I'm like, how's he going to do it? That's how he's going to do it.
Yeah.
So, amazing.
Well, Taz
kid.
spoke occasionally.
Yeah.
Well, for you, Barry.
That's what I mean. But it's
know,
perfect.
yeah.
It's perfect. It's like, wow, that's how he would talk.
Yeah,
All right. So
yeah.
yeah, I think that's a fantastic match. All right. So
Let's do it.
What do we do? How do I?
You start off
Yeah,
with a Crash
yeah.
Fast
Bandicoot
line?
line. What's
Okay.
a line?
Okay. Yeah. The closest thing we get to a line. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
Well, I'm going to try.
Good luck. Try to write this down because it's very. Okay. Here we go. Pancake. You got that?
Got it.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, so yeah. Pancake.
That didn't sound like Taz. We're doing
with
But it was
honey.
adorable.
It
was
I thought
adorable.
I had to do it.
You got to do it as Pooh too, though.
yeah,
See, now don't you want to
because
hug him?
I
It's
wanted
hard.
to hear Pooh say that.
Pooh say-
Okay, here, but now, meanwhile, back at it more appropriate. Pancake.
And that's why he's Jim Cummings, ladies and gentlemen. You see, all right.
And I just need to
That was
interject because I
great.
think that's
That
so
was great.
That was
cool. I
amazing.
think that's so cool. And we've talked about this so many times. You've mentioned so many times how music just helps you with voice acting.
That's it. Oh.
And the first thing you do is just
Right.
hit the notes
Break
of
it
the
down.
rhythm.
And he was
da,
breaking
da,
down
da,
the
da,
beats.
da.
Breaking down the beats. He was
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was so cool. That's the first time I've ever seen you do that.
Oh,
that was really
beautiful,
cool.
man.
That was
Love
really
that.
Yeah, good.
Do another one.
All right,
Thank
now
you.
he's going to throw one at me to do? Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Okay. Yes.
Oh, God.
Are you picking?
So,
I got to listen
This is
carefully.
free will. This is free will.
it?
okay. Well, let's drag out Darkwing. He
Okay.
can't go too wrong.
Okay.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Who am I doing, man? Who should I do? You want me to pick
It's
one? You want
user choice.
Okay. I'm gonna do Ironhide of the Transformers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because that's really good. You ready? I am the terror that flaps in the night. How about
Yes.
that, man? Take that,
Hell
Optimus.
to the yes.
I love that. I love that. Did you do them in the movies?
Yeah, you did it.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody had to.
Cool. Man.
Somebody had
about
to.
that?
And I remember when I went to do the second or third one, Chris, I don't remember which one it was. Michael Bay said to me, he goes, "Okay, now this is where you die." And I'm like, "What?"
Wait a minute.
He's like, I didn't tell you. No, you didn't tell me, and I got a mortgage. So
Yeah, wait a minute. I come back in the next one in a dream sequence.
Michael
Dream
Bay,
sequence, right?
Michael Bay gets so much flack, at least online, and that guy is such a good director.
he does his thing, man.
You watch a Michael Bay movie. I don't think people realize how hard directing is.
Do you know what he actually
Watch a Michael Bay movie and tell me that's not the most cinematic movie you've ever seen in your life.
He's very cinematic.
Every single one.
Do you know what he actually said?
The
to me
most
that-
cinematic movie you've ever seen in your life.
This comes from his mouth, man. This is very true. Michael Bay once said to me, because we actually had some nice interactions and conversations, and he goes, Jess, this is his words, not mine. He goes, I may not be the best director that ever lived, but I can make stuff blow up better than anybody. That's exactly exactly what he said. And a quick anecdote, Chris, you'll get a kick out of this if you like Transformers, and this is one I don't often tell, but it's very, very funny, is for some reason I'm always fascinated by how many Brits are in outer space. Okay?
Yes.
Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was on the planet
Oh,
Tatooine.
God,
if
yeah.
I'm not
How the hell?
He's British.
Yeah.
C-3PO, British.
We get around.
Yeah, you guys really do get
They've
around.
colonized more than anybody.
Well, you know, I have a theory about that.
We're taking over.
I want to hear this. This is
It's
going to be...
a little mini theory.
Go.
Okay, go on.
And what it is we, certainly Americans, we always like the idea of somebody being from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. And England, with its myriad accents, supplies that, but you can tell what the hell they're saying.
Okay, yeah, good point.
And so that's pretty good.
Can you?
Yeah, to an extent.
Well, unless everybody quoting
Depends. Yeah, maybe not in Glasgow.
He's got a
You
point.
can
Even like
tell
Game
what
of
I
Thrones, like they're in imaginary lands,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
still
yeah.
British.
They're still British.
Yeah.
So, but take this.
Do
This
you
was...
remember when you got to tell the story real quick?
No, I got it. Let me do Michael Bay one, and I'll circle back to that one. I don't want to get sidetracked.
There's so many stories.
There's a lot of stories.
Oh,
This is pretty funny. So Michael Bay, we did the first Transformers, and I auditioned, and it was very funny because when I did audition, it was this horrible rundown building in North Hollywood that you felt like you were gonna get mugged on your way in, and my agents are like, I'm like, what's this for? And they go, oh, it's top secret, and I'm like, because they didn't want to say it was Transformers for some reason, and I said, okay, so I get in there. The guy filming me is filming me on like a cheap like flip phone, and I'm thinking this is the cheapest, stupidest thing ever, right? So I basically threw it away, and they're like, you're playing this robot, and you're a weapons specialist and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, well, please, I'll make him very big and I'll put him down here, and for some reason my mind went to doing him British. I don't know why, but I just did. So I recorded it. And I get the phone call and they say, okay, you got it, dude. It's Transformers. It's the movie. It's a big deal. I'm like, wow, I would have thought it was like a bad Taco Bell commercial for like Norco, California only.
Wow.
I mean, it was, so I go in to do it. And I record it, and Bay is there. It was very, very friendly. Got through it. Was fine. Came back for the second movie. Okay. Now, Michael Bay makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. And has made a lot of money and has made a lot of very, very big movies. So he has a lot of people around him, and let's just say his word goes. Okay. It's like he's the guy.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm in there and he shows up. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Good to see you too, man. Good to see you. Yeah, listen, we got to make this quick. I got to get back. I'm like, okay. So I start recording the dialogue for the second movie. Right. I'm like, we must retrieve the cube or whatever it is I'm talking about. And I get a couple lines into it and he goes, hang on, wait. And he goes, why are you doing a British accent? This is true. And I'm like, oh, because I did it in the first movie, right? And he goes, no, I don't think you did, right?
Oh boy,
this is
perfect.
How awkward is that moment?
Oh, dude, it gets.
I don't think you did.
I don't think you did. Right. It gets.
Watch the movie.
Oh, Chris, you'll love this.
Yeah.
And I go. No, man, I don't think I did. He goes, I don't think you did. And I said, I'm pretty sure, Michael. And he goes,
think that was
and
me.
he goes, you know what? Let's not do it. He goes, do it without the accent, right? So I'm like, and in my head, because I'm a businessman, in my head I thought, all right, I'll do it, and then I'll have to bring me back, and I'll get paid again, and I'll do the British accent, right? So I start doing. I'm like, we have to retrieve the cube, and I'm doing it, American. Now, I turn my head, and I'm facing a screen. It's like a soundstage thing, and Michael Bay's in there with me, and I'm looking in the control room, and people are like melting down, or they're going, Like, they know they can't use any of this.
Yeah.
Right. And they're all freaking out. But I know what was happening. Was just like, are you going to tell him? I'm not going to tell him.
Yeah,
You're going to tell him. Right. Somebody's got to tell him. But it ain't going to be me.
Didn't Michael listen to the first movie?
You would have think he'd seen it.
You maybe. Yeah.
So I mean, it's been a while. It's been a minute. But anyway, so after I did like 7 or 8 lines, and he's going, yeah, good. Okay, give me more on that. Okay, yeah. He was very hands on. Somebody kind of, there's a talk back, and this guy goes, Michael, yeah. He goes, we
just a thought.
He goes, we actually called up some footage from the first movie, and he was doing a British accent, right? Michael goes, really? And they go, yeah. He goes, well, let me see it. Right? So he comes in and he looks at it and he goes, huh. And he goes, I guess you weren't doing a British accent. So I did it again. But it's like, I just loved it, Jim, because, listen, I don't claim to have seen everything that I've worked on over the years, but you would think if you're directing a movie, you have to see it a lot. Right? I mean,
one would think.
Right? Wouldn't you think?
I mean, you'd be in the editing room,
post,
seeing a couple takes.
In post.
A couple times.
Maybe.
But yeah, he legit. I almost recorded the second movie without the same voice.
He had a lot going on.
He had a lot.
He forgot.
He had a lot of robots.
Yeah,
to keep straight.
he had a lot of.
Yeah, he sure did, didn't he?
He had a lot of other takes that were very attractive in those movies.
Yes, he did.
Maybe his attention was focused. There.
Yeah, I think
maybe?
I can't blame him.
I think that may be.
Megan
true.
Fox.
Yeah, well, that was her big break, man. That was it. Washing that car or something like that, right?
He had like a supermodel in all those movies.
Sure, he did.
Yeah,
coincidence?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Get out, everybody. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yes. And Cara, when will you be starring in one? That's all.
Yeah, exactly. When's your Michael Bay debut?
That'll be coming up.
Your Michael Bay debut.
Yes.
No comment.
Transgressors 12.
No comment.
Oh my God. You know what fascinates me, Chris, is how many Fast and Furious movies there have been. Because
You know what?
How many?
I love them.
Do you?
I love them.
Really?
Fast and the Furious is one of the best movies you can go see in the theaters.
Why?
Because it's like an amusement park ride.
I get that.
That's
it's
true.
not serious. You see
Okay.
the most ridiculous stunts you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
A car parachuting from space. A car
with a British guy
riding
in the trunk.
riding a rope swing across a cliff.
I know.
A Dodge Challenger rides a rope swing across a cliff. If that's not the coolest thing, you're literally sitting in a movie theater and that's what you were doing playing with Hot Wheels.
Okay.
That's what you were doing
that's
playing
true.
with Hot Wheels, and now it's $2 billion movie exploding everywhere
It's 15
with the
$2 billion
cheesiest
movies.
with the
When you
cheesiest
put it
lines
like that.
ever, and just pure testosterone.
Yeah.
There he is. There's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
There he is.
There it is. Jason Momoa showed up again.
People just
there-
flexing
there's
all over the
yeah.
place.
Yeah, but
Sweat on the pecs.
But Chris, you know what's funny though?
I think Chris likes the movie.
No, actually,
I love the Fast and the Furious. I love all of those movies.
I think you just made a good case for it because my line has always
Playing
been
with
like
the Hot Wheels.
when somebody once asked me, and I just thought this was a great response from anybody, but they go, hey man, are you gonna go see? What do you think of them making Fast and Furious 12? And I said, well, they had to. There were so many unanswered questions in the first 11.
Yeah.
they got so many loose ends to tie up.
Wow.
A cartoon Fast and Furious. I'd watch that because seeing Winnie the Pooh in a souped-up Ferrari jumping over a
Yeah.
cliff, that would be
You know
so-
what?
That
One of
would
my
be good.
favorite. Speaking of amusement parks, one of my favorite attractions ever at Universal Studios was the Fast and the Furious
I
attraction.
remember. Is it not there
And-
anymore?
No, it's long gone.
Oh,
It's
really?
been gone for like a decade.
No kidding.
But they had these two. They had these two cars, and they were on big robotic arms.
Yes, I
And you
remember.
would go through the attraction, and then they would make the cars do these flips and twist all around on these big robotic
absolutely.
arms. They would have water effects, fire, everything. And I
Right.
guess it was too expensive for them to keep doing it. So now you just drive by, and this is on the tram tour
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Universal Studios
Yeah.
when you do the
Sure.
backlot
The
tour.
backlot tour.
Yeah.
And you would drive through it. But now you just drive by and it's like production vehicles and they're all just lined up
No
from like
kidding, they got rid of
Jurassic
that?
Park,
Oh yeah, remember we saw
Fast
that.
and the Furious.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. They did
We
take that
saw
out.
that.
It's
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
And
I
the
like
most
the
frustrating
attraction.
part is on the backlot tour still, you can still see the area where it is. Like you can still see it's still staged there. You just don't go
Listen,
in it
let me
anymore.
tell you something. My personal credo, okay? I don't want to hear theme parks complaining about not making money when they're charging me $15 for a bottle of water. So shut up.
Yeah.
Put the Fast and Furious back up.
Theme
Knock
parks
it off.
are the we just were in Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And for some reason
Were you there for appearance
it
or just
finally
to hang- or
clicked.
just to hang? Were
No,
you-
it was for what were you there for? It was for the Princess and the Frog.
beautiful.
the debut of the ride.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
doing
Uh-huh.
good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they
good.
rethemed the Splash Mountains.
Replaced Jesse.
That's fine.
You replaced.
If somebody was going to replace me, I would rather have it be him than anybody else, man.
But we were just there, and it finally like clicked to me. I don't know. It just clicked, and I was looking around, and I'm like, theme parks make so much money
it's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
that the movies, Avengers, Star Wars, all these movies, the Avatar, they're just advertisements for people to go to the parks.
Sometimes.
They're literally just advertisements. $1 billion on a movie is nothing for Disney.
Isn't that amazing?
You know how much money they make at the parks?
I know, man.
Just like, these kids see, we went and saw Avatar. It doesn't matter if the movie was good or not. Now I get to go on Avatar
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Disneyland.
Yeah.
You know,
That
I
was
want to go
insane.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw Star Wars. It doesn't matter if Star Wars Rogue One. It doesn't matter if a TV series sucked.
No.
What, The Acolyte just got canceled?
Right.
It doesn't matter because people are talking about Star Wars.
That's it.
You go to Disneyland, there's a Star Wars. There's a live action Hondo.
Yeah,
You
there's
like
a
the
live
Clone
action
Wars?
Hondo.
There's a live action Hondo.
Wow.
You're living the world, and they do such a good job.
I know. They're raising the game all the time.
unbelievable.
No, it is, man. It
It's
totally
like
is.
it's like these movies are like $100 million billboards
Yeah.
for people
Yeah.
to go to theme parks, buy merchandise. I can only imagine what the
merchant was
merchandise
insane.
sales.
Oh,
Well,
forget it.
if you, I once did, as Jimmy has, you do voices for theme parks, right?
Yeah.
And I went at one of the sessions, and this is going back, you guys, this is like 15 years ago, and I happened to say to one of the guys who was involved in building the attraction, I said, so the cost basis, man, it's got to be unbelievable. He goes, well, think of it this way. He said the average person who walks in drops $300.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I said, this was 15 years ago before the
Yeah.
admission was 200.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's, I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, 150 admission. They're going to get a T-shirt. They're going to buy food. Blah 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 blah. So for a family of 5, okay, that's $1,500 for the day, right?
Yeah.
And I said, okay,
$20 churro.
$20 churro and a $10 bottle of water, right? So if you do the math, and he goes, so do the math. He goes, at $300, 80,000 times, 80,000 times $300
Yeah.
every day. Okay, and 80,000 is just kind of a mid-level number. I think the capacity is like
Yeah.
115.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I'm talking about the Disneyland park,
Right.
But it's just like, oh my god,
I know. It's nuts.
Like it takes Jim a month to make.
And then
this.
to take it to another level based off
Shoo-wee.
based
Yeah.
off those numbers, to take it to another level, Michael Jackson used to rent out the park to himself
I know.
for the day.
I know.
You know?
And
You know what? Everybody
Jamal.
everybody
Yeah,
stay
pretty good.
home. I'm gonna take Disneyland
I know.
today.
Yeah. See, and what did you do this afternoon? Well, I took over Disneyland. That's that's pretty good, man. That's
Yeah.
not a bad way to spend
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
Wednesday.
I
That would be
moonwalked.
cool. Can you imagine the
would be-
whole place to yourself?
Do you get the tour guides when you go there?
Sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what was a cool memory that we had one time, Cara and me? We went to Disney World, and we were the last 2 people other than employees in the park.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So we took a picture laying down on the ground with the Sleeping Beauty castle back of us like this, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And I don't quite know how it came out, how
Yeah,
it worked
there
out
was
like
nobody.
that.
That's nice.
Yeah, wasn't that neat? You know,
That's cool.
Those places, man. You know, it's like the great thing about it is that I think the reason Disney in particular, the reason that they do as well as they do is because it's an escape hatch from the real world, and it's things that are sweet and things that are happy and things that make you feel good inside.
Yeah.
which is sort of describes
Yeah.
your whole career.
Well,
you know.
well, and Walt said he had a famous quote that he said, "No, I'm not worried about they were doing this and that," and they go, you're spending money, you're spending $40,000 on this curbstone here that's
Yeah.
going around. He goes, no, you don't understand. If you spend money on the people, and that's what we're doing, they will give it back to you. They will give it back to you and much, much more.
Wow, man.
Because
isn't that
each
nice?
person knows that it's special for them.
For them.
That's their day. They're here with their kids, with their loved ones, with themselves.
Wow, that's really
And,
nice.
They will say, well, he really took a lot of extra time. He didn't have to do this
Right.
or that, but he did. And I just think it's much better now.
And that
Yeah.
kicks it up a
And that
notch.
kicks it up a notch. Yeah.
Well, and that's something, man. That's really
Yeah.
beautiful. I like that a lot.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why he's Walt Disney.
Walt Disney. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, what a, and imagination is Trump's education.
Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, of course, man.
I think.
And also, what's funny about that is it harkening back to that little quote I said earlier about wanting to be the person that people are happier to see walking in the room than out of the room. I've always said that I think that one of the key things to success, you guys, for whatever endeavors you might want to take on in your life, is kindness. Because if we could all be cool to each other and be nice to each other and be easy to have around. I have heard a lot of casting directors, etc., people say, man, given a choice between hiring this guy or this guy for the job, and this guy's edges him out a little bit with talent.
Yeah.
But this guy's a lot more fun and a lot easier to hang with.
We literally the other day,
Yeah.
Hank Azaria just told us a story about that, where he was not the original voice of, I don't know, a Pooh or
I think it
something,
was
a Pooh on
Okay.
Simpsons. And he was like, didn't find out until 15 years later. And
Was it because somebody...
Matt Groening was like, oh yeah, that guy was just, he was good for the job, but we just didn't like him as a person.
See what I'm saying? Well, my whole, one of my introductions to show business, and I'm not going to mention any names, was, I had been a singer, as we've talked about, and sang lots and lots of commercials and sound-alikes, and a guy that I sang for was doing the music for Splash Mountain. I didn't have a voiceover agent. I didn't have anything like that. And he just knew, because I'd be on the mic at sessions screwing around doing impressions and things like that. I'm Rodney Dangerfield, on the mic or whatever, I'm just doing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And he'd be like, hey, those stupid voices you do? I said, yeah. He said, I can get you an audition to be on this theme park ride if you want to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I said,
Wow.
oh my gosh. And Jim, honestly, my mind, and it still kind of goes there, wasn't like, wow, what does that pay? My mind was, so if I go there, I'm going to hear my voice coming out of one of those things.
That's
that was
exactly.
it. That's all I want. So I auditioned and I got it. My second big job, well, in the lexicon, it was among my first big jobs, was replacing somebody who was difficult to work with. And
why bother?
Right. And
Why
what was
bother
funny
to,
is this, I always come back to this. I always share this with people that are trying to get somewhere or whatever. His words, when because they warned him, they said, listen, you keep doing this, we're going to replace you. And his words were, you won't be able to find anybody who can do it. So the lesson is, there's always somebody who can do it. Not necessarily me or him or you or her.
That's the kiss of death right there.
There's always somebody. And in Los Angeles, he's probably next to you at the Starbucks.
Yeah.
So
There's probably 10 of you.
Right. You got to keep your humility, man. You got to keep your gratitude.
for sure.
And you got to...
Gratitude is key.
Gratitude
Amen.
is key. Every
Amen
day.
to that.
Every day, man.
All right, before we finish, I want to try something
is
new
key.
on this
Okay,
podcast.
go, dude.
There we go.
Let me know if you guys are
scared,
down.
but-
Jim, this is for you as well.
I'm down.
I'm very curious on the process of developing a voice for a character.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you a picture of a completely original cartoon character.
Okay.
Nobody knows him.
Okay.
And I want to hear what voice comes
that.
out. Do
Love
you guys want to try that?
Yeah, let's do
Sure.
it.
Do you want to try that?
By
This is
all
for
means.
both of you.
Go right
Okay,
ahead,
so here's
Jess.
the
Take it
character.
away.
It's just a picture?
Here's the character. It's just a picture.
Did
Just a picture.
you draw that?
I did.
That's cool.
That's really cool. Can I show the folks?
We'll put a little
Oh,
image
okay,
so
okay.
that they have a clear visual on the screen. But I'm really curious about the development.
Okay, well, my first thing, when I look at this, is he's got a lot of girth. So my first thought is that he'd probably be down here someplace and have like a lot of bottom end in his voice. But then I'd say, but he looks kind of nervous and like nebbishy. So he's got some of this, oh my gosh, I'm very nervous right now. I don't like the way this is shaping up. So we kind of combine them. Oh my gosh, I don't like the way this is shaping up. I feel very nervous right now. This could be anything bad. What's going to happen to me? Oh boy. Okay.
I
So
love it.
It's like that.
I love it.
Those
I
are-
love it. And then in that voice, can you say, you're watching Tuned In with Jim Cummings?
You're watching Tuned In with Jim Cummings. It scares me, but hopefully you're going to like it.
I love it. I love it.
This
Okay,
is what we do for a
Nice.
living.
let's
Right.
hear your take, Jim.
Okay, Jimmy.
Oh no, same
Jimmy.
guy.
Same guy. Same guy.
But do your spin.
Okay,
Just don't make me
let's
look
see. Yeah,
bad,
but not
dude.
the same guy. Yeah.
I'm a guest.
Oh, jeez. Let's. Okay, well, he's got a nose, and has everybody seen this guy
Yeah,
yet?
they've seen it.
Okay.
They've seen it.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems like he could
Just please tell me you have a Kleenex. But my nose is about to. Never mind. You don't want to know. Because he's scared looking.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I mean,
He sounds like a worried Jewish father.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yes.
He's Cal Rubenstein.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the Hefferstein? What
Hefferstein. Yeah, I like that very much, man.
Something with heifer. Anyway, yes.
oh,
Okay.
Wait,
Chris-
so now in that voice, you're watching Tuned
yeah.
In with Jim Cummings.
Okay. You're watching Toon'd with Jim Cummings.
Dude, I gotta tell you, that was so much fun. What a great thing. You've never done that before?
Never done that
No.
before.
You gotta do
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
You gotta do that all the time.
And you're a good artist. That's
Yeah,
really
you
cool.
are a good
thank you.
artist.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
You got great hair and you smell good. Listen, stop being so good at everything because you're making people uncomfortable. It's not cool. Now listen, before we go, I got it.
What is that one?
Oh, that's another character.
That's you.
That's another character.
It reminds me of someone.
Good. That's a character, huh? Hey, how about that?
It's a Cara tune.
Should we just?
Yeah, how about you try that?
Hey, you want to do a voice?
No, I don't want to do.
Yeah, now you have to. Now
Wait,
you have
that's a
to.
good one.
Yeah.
That one you just
Yeah,
did?
do it. Do a voice.
This isn't supposed to go this way.
Anything can happen on Tuned In, man.
That's right.
All right. Well. Okay.
All right, give her a line,
This is
Jess.
great.
Well, because it's like we're in America,
Yeah.
Okay.
and she looks kind of. Can we show them this one?
Yeah,
too?
yeah,
Please,
yeah.
yeah.
I'll put
Okay.
it up.
This has
somewhere.
never happened before, folks.
She looks a little dizzy, like a little ditzy.
Yeah, I can see that.
So like, I think she's totally gonna be like.
That's great. Keep going.
She's gonna be like this, and she's not gonna eat much. And like when she goes out for dinner, she's gonna like totally just suck on an ice cube because there's no carbs in there.
That was great, babe.
Right?
Wow. And,
Cara Harnell, ladies and
and her
gentlemen.
name is Cara Dashian. All right. Now, look, before we go, three things I want to hit on and use them as you will. A really great anecdote about my brother Jim over there that I don't know that I've shared. If I have, forgive the redundancy, but I have to say it because it's such a great story. We've mentioned Chuck Duran a couple times. Chuck is my musical partner in Rock Sugar. He makes the greatest voiceover demos in the world. Demosthatrock.com is his website. If you're inclined to make a demo, I can't recommend anybody more highly. But there was a day early in his voiceover career, Chris, this was so cool. And I've never forgotten it. I've told this story a million times. And he told me, I said, what are you doing tomorrow? And he goes, oh my God, man, I'm so bummed out. I got to get up at like 7:30 in the morning because from 8:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, I'm running auditions for this cartoon movie and they're bringing in 45 people to read. And I'm going to be sitting there all day over and over and over hearing the same thing. And I go, no, dude, wow. I go, that's not how to look at it, because I'm a big believer in perception, and you can change when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? So I said to him, I go, dude,
That's a good one.
right? I go, dude, this is amazing. I said, I'm going in on that. I said, this is a big project. I'm sure they're calling in like the best voiceover people in the world. You're going to hear an all-star lineup of the greatest voiceover people in the whole world reading the same characters. You're going to be able to compare and contrast and go, wow, that guy did that and that guy did that, and it's a really high level. I wish I could be a fly on the wall. And he goes, yeah, that's kind of cool to look at it that way. So he goes in. This was kind of the beginning of my career. I think I was 3 or 4 years into it. So he comes home that night, right? And we actually went out and got a bite. And I said, well, dude, how was it? And this is the true story that he told me. He said, dude, it was unbelievable, man. He said, like you said, the level of talent, these were all like the biggest guys in the industry, whatever. He said, and I remember the first guy came in and he was great. And the second guy came in and he was great. And the third and the fourth and the fifth. And I'm not just saying this. He goes, and then Jim Cummings came in. And he goes, and I forgot what I was doing.
Wow.
He goes, I forgot to run the faders. I got so into what he was saying. And it's not that the other guys weren't terrific. It's that Jim brought magic to it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not only my way of paying a quick tribute to you, bro, but it's also my way of saying to you guys out there, I just want to leave you with something positive, because I'm all about being positive. And it's like anything that you have inside of you that you do, that you love to do, like we meet all these kids on the road who do art or who sing or who do voices or who want to be a veterinarian or whatever it is that's in your heart to do it. It's there for a reason. And the reason is that you can do it. It's inside of you to do it. That's why it exists.
Mm-hmm.
So don't deny it. Don't like say, well, it's a small group of people that do voiceover.
Yeah.
Or I could never be a rock star or a pop star because I don't look like this. Or well, there's so many people trying to do art for Disney. I could never do that. Listen, I got in, he got in, people get in all the time. And you can
They
get
weren't
in.
looking for us.
Right, exactly. And if it's in your heart and you've got skills, use those skills because they're there for a reason.
Beautifully said.
And finally, if you guys are bored, go to rocksugarband.com. Check out this Beatles thing.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I promise you, if I had nothing to do with it, I would still just dig it the most. And the video documentary is almost better than the record because you get to be there and you get to see there and share the day with us. So if you're inclined, please check it out. Love to hear if you dig it, and I hope that you do.
That's great.
That's it, man.
Thank you so much.
Dude, what a
Thank
joy,
you so
man.
much.
Thank
I
you.
swear, I could have kept talking with you guys for like another month and a half. So thanks a lot. Yay!
Yeah. Well, you're
Chris,
going to have to come back then.
Thank you.
I would love to anytime. And Jimmy, man. You know.
Hooray. What can I say?
Go us, bro.
My brethren.
Go
Maybe
us.
you made me do a silly voice.
That was great. And you rocked it. How about that?
I think people are going to love it.
Yeah,
Let
they
us
are.
know if you love it.
Cara Harnell. Wow, wow, wow. There she
Have
goes.
them back. Do some more voices.
Do some more. Come on with some more stuff, man.
That's right. Does she come with a soundtrack?
Her own.
She walks in the room.
And it's yeah, when she
Why
walks.
is that my soundtrack?
Because it's gotta be.
I think that's
Why
her soundtrack.
shouldn't it be?
Because
Because it suits you. Yeah. Hello, Ness. As,
Yeah,
as
that's
they
right.
once said.
I'm done.
Mwah, we love you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Thank you.
for tuning in.
Yes, thank you everybody for watching another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. Today we had Jess and Cara Harnell.
Heck
Thank
yeah.
you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Great discussion. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. We are so close to 100,000. Can we just have this episode? Can we make this
Wow, yeah,
episode
you guys,
the one
come
that
on.
gets us over
What
100,000?
the
We
heck?
need
Let us be the
3,000
one.
more subs, and then we're there.
How about
82% of you are not subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking.
Yeah, that's right.
We're looking. And
talking
thank
to
you
you.
so much
Talking to
to
you.
all of our patrons on Patreon. If you don't know, you can find bonus content on Patreon. You get early releases. You get to see these episodes early.
Wow.
You get a whole bunch of additional content. So subscribe to Patreon if you like to support. And of course, as always, Jim, thank you so much,
Jimmy
sir.
Cummings,
Thank
you the
you.
man.
God
Wow, wow,
bless.
wow.
God bless. Thank
And
you.
we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Till next time.